All right, grab your snacks because you and I are diving into some absolute madness. That is Aphrodite, goddess of desire, and she is looking flawless. But wait, she is totally annoyed right now. She is glaring at her husband, this short, bald, bearded dude named Hephaestus, complaining he did not bring her stuff. Then she flashes our boy one smile and his knees turn to absolute jelly. The fertility queen asks him to fetch some celestial steel. Honestly, if she looked at me like that, I would need new pants. Nobody says no to that face, so he grabs his helmet and rides out. But how the heck did a regular dude become an errand boy for the gods? See, our guy was just your average broke food delivery driver. He would hike up 27 flights of stairs, ring the bell, and just get yelled at. He wanted to scream back, but always stayed quiet. The second he hits the street, his boss calls. The last customer totally trashed their food in the toilet just to get a free refund. Our guy tries to explain, but nope, too late. He is banned from new orders for a while just to learn a lesson. Tough break. The worst part, rent is due next week. But right then, standing near a dungeon portal, his phone lights up with a crazy alert. New delivery request. The app looks super weird, totally different from his usual screen. Curiosity gets him, he taps it. A huge flash goes off and boom, he is in heaven. He absolutely freaks out. Is this a dream? Did some crazy god finally pick him? Nothing has even happened yet, but he is already crying, praying his awful delivery days are over. Then he looks down. The screen shows a map and an order, pick up nectar. Figuring he has zero options, he hits accept. Boom, a massive golden gate opens right up. He swallows hard and rolls through. He is riding literally above the clouds, zooming past a massive castle. Sweating bullets, he realizes this is actually where the gods live, stopping at a giant door. Super nervous, he knocks, hoping a god will make him a hunter. A gorgeous blonde girl in white answers, and he instantly knows she is a goddess. Stuttering, he says he is here for a pickup. She steps up, demanding to know why a mortal is in Olympus. She basically calls him a trespasser, but he flashes his screen. Just here for the nectar. She stops, sighs, and mumbles that Hermes must be behind this. She tells him to hold on, grabbing the divine drink. She warns him that her brother will go crazy if it is late. Now pay attention because this is where the stakes get crazy. Getting right in his face, she warns him not to drink a single drop. She points at her eyes, meaning she is watching him, then slams the door. He is fuming. From regular courier to cosmic errand boy. He looks at the apple juice and thinks about quitting. Then it hits him. The customer is totally another god. Since he is hanging out in Olympus anyway, he decides to ask for superpowers. Hyped up, he swears this is his last run. He drives straight through a literal sea of magma until he spots a tiny, super hot house. He gets to the door, totally roasting in the sauna heat, and yells out that the delivery is here. Bam, the door flies open. Our guy is drenched in sweat. An angry dwarf turns from his forge, yelling about intruders. Panicking, the kid says he is just the delivery guy. The dwarf marches over, realizing this is the guy his sister sent. Our boy is stunned. How are they even related? Then the dwarf notices he is not Hermes. His scary aura flares up. Our hero panics, explaining the sister sent him. The dwarf sees the full bottle and looks impressed. He actually did not take a sip. Our guy defends himself, saying he is no thief. The dwarf laughs, praising his honesty. One drop of that juice makes you a god. Hearing this, our boy is totally shocked, realizing he missed out on literal godhood. So our boy lunges for the bottle, ready to quit his day job and become a god. But nope, the dwarf snatches it back, pops the lid, and completely chugs it. He wipes his mouth, saying it is amazing. Our guy is devastated, while the dwarf praises the fresh nectar. The dwarf introduces himself and asks for his name. Our boy says he is Hajun Lee. The god thanks Lee for being cool and turns around, ready to hit the forge again. But Lee grabs his shoulder. Hold up. The dwarf turns back, confused. Lee demands his delivery fee. Hephaestus just laughs, saying the fee is already paid, and walks away. Lee checks the app and boom, a massive flash blinds him. The screen says 1,000 points. Next thing, he is waking up in his bed. Was it a dream? Nope, a glowing system screen is floating right there. You and I both know what he really wanted, right? To be an S-rank hunter. Instead, he is staring at random points. Then the system chimes in, saying he can trade points for items. He opens the shop, totally crossing his fingers. The shop is wild. A golden apple for 1,000 points, a motorcycle for 100,000. He gets so mad because everything is too expensive and totally useless for a dungeon. He scrolls and scrolls, thinking this is a total scam, until something catches his eye. At the very bottom, it says 1 point equals 10,001, which is about $10. Wait, does that mean this one trip made him 10 grand? He taps it. Instantly, a real $10 bill drops right onto his lap. The system updates to 999 points. Crazy. He stares at the cash, looks at the screen, and starts spamming the button. Money starts raining everywhere. Just look at that sly grin. He tosses the cash up, absolutely hyped. Cut to him slurping ramen, living his best life before hitting the bank to check the bills. It is all legit. He almost tears up, realizing he bagged 10 grand from one run. The cashier asks if he is okay, and he says he is doing too good. He sits there giggling like a complete maniac. Then, the TV starts blasting news about a new recruit. A top guild is gearing up for the Tartarus Gate, the worst one ever. Their star hunter is top 5 globally and has a contract with Hephaestus. Lee realizes that is the chubby dwarf he just delivered to. He leaves totally stuffed, and then his phone rings again. He totally saw this coming, so he had his scooter ready. The phone flashes with a new gig, and boom, he gets warped again. This time, he lands in a massive, beautiful botanical garden. Before he can even search for the pickup, a girl calls out to him. Goddess Demeter. Lee says what is up, and she smiles, saying her nephew Hephaestus told her about him. Our guy is baffled. These gods look nothing alike. She laughs, noting he did not drink the nectar, then asks if he can handle a special delivery. He instantly says yes. Easy money, baby. He expects some epic, glowing artifact. But Demeter just uses her magic to whip up a simple lunch box. She asks him to drop it off for her daughter. He is confused but agrees. Suddenly, she shivers, and the entire garden instantly rots and dies. He freaks out, but she is already walking off, thanking him. He prays this lunch box is not a hidden bomb or something. But hey, a mom would not blow up her own kid, right? He secures it on his bike. Before he can check the map, flash. He is back. The app shows the drop-off is actually in Korea. He remembers gods cannot leave their palaces, so he is about to meet her daughter right here on Earth. He is hyped for the points. And trust me, you are going to want to see who he meets next. Alright, you and I are about to watch the wildest delivery shift in history. He takes off his helmet, thinking this app is straight up trolling him. It wants him to enter Tartarus, literally a graveyard for hunters. He yells, trying to cancel, totally sure the customer is waiting outside. But get this, canceling triggers actual divine punishment. A timer pops up, 42 minutes left, or he literally turns into a pig with a human mind. What kind of sick joke is that? Plus, there is zero chance he's getting past those heavy guards. His brain instantly starts flashing images of barbecue pork. Then, the system shop pops up. He's broke on points and even thinks about paying pro hunters to carry him. But wait, for 800 points, he spots a helm of haze that gives 30 minutes of pure invisibility. He totally calls out this scam meant to drain his wallet. But hey, it beats bacon mode, so he buys it, swearing this is his final delivery. The helmet drops, rolls away like he's a total klutz, and once equipped, 38 minutes left on the clock. He zooms right past the guards, they just sneeze, blaming the wind. Heading into the absolute worst place on Earth, 20-year-old Hajun Lee pushes forward. No hunter license, no mythical contract, absolutely zero powers, just a dude, a scooter, and pure panic. He actually makes it to the deepest zone. It's completely empty. Hyped he won't be turning into a pig, he yells out, "Delivery is here." Then, out of the shadows, a massive three-headed wolf locks eyes with him. Dude is paralyzed. The beast creeps closer, drooling like crazy. Honestly, being a pig sounds way better right now. With the monster literally in his face, he figures he's toast. He wasted all his points just to become dog food. Suddenly, he remembers the helmet's second skill. He pops it, but those massive jaws snap shut. Now pay attention, because this is where everything flips. Someone orders the beast to spit out the trash, and it actually stops. Hajun opens his eyes, totally alive, and sees a little girl chilling in Tartarus. She pets the massive hellhound, claiming he doesn't bite. She looks exactly like a mini Demeter. He politely drops the food delivery line. Suddenly, a super pale dude pops up, looking for Persephone. He spots our boy and demands to know how a regular mortal sneaked into Hades' underworld. Our guy is literally shaking in his boots. Hades drops some lore: no human has made it down here since Orpheus. An insane aura chokes Hajun out. Hades claims Orpheus wanted his wife, but this kid came to steal his gear. He grabs the helmet, immediately realizing it's a cheap knockoff. Persephone tells him to chill and listen, so Hades drops our coughing delivery boy. Fighting for air, Hajun gasps out he's just working. Hades is like, "A delivery for me?" Nope. It's from his wife for their daughter. The two gods just stare, totally lost. Hades demands to know why a random kid is doing Hermes' job. Trembling, Hajun says he just follows the app. Persephone instantly recognizes the lunchbox. Hades confirms his wife sent it. Yeah, for the daughter. Persephone happily explains it's actually from her mother-in-law. She lights up, totally hyped the food is still warm. Watching this, Hajun realizes they're a couple and accidentally blurts out that Hades is way too old and gross for her. He instantly slaps a hand over his mouth, but Hades heard everything. "Say that again to the king." The dude starts speedrunning an apology, shaking like a leaf. Then, Hades just starts busting up laughing. Hajun is mind blown. Hades admits he never expected a human to have the guts to flame him like that. He asks his name, letting it slide just this once. But if he messes up again, one wave of his hand and it's game over. Hades clears the payment, telling him to thank the mother-in-law. Boom, 10,000 points hit his account, plus a fat 5,000 tip. Hades even tosses the toy helmet back for him to keep. I know you and I are loving this guy, but let's pause. Over on a completely different battlefield, an exhausted hunter is throwing down with a massive dragon. That's Team 1's captain Doyen Ha. He lands sick combos but takes a brutal claw to the chest. Out of nowhere, another fighter drops a massive aura blade from behind. The dragon shrieks, launching up before crashing down, totally wrecked. The swordsman hypes Doyen up. They actually just cleared the first 4 floors of Tartarus. Meet Guild Master Shangjun Park, literally the 3rd strongest dude in the world. The squad is going wild, celebrating their push into Tartarus' deepest zones, even though everyone is running on fumes. Shangjun gives all the props to Doyen, who totally plays it humble. Wholesome guild hugs all around. Shangjun tells Eren to chill and not overkill the rank 17 dragon. He knows she's farming mana stones, but they can pace themselves. Suddenly, her vibe changes. Jumping off the corpse, she warns that something crazy fast is incoming. The exhausted squad stares into the absolute darkness. The boss yells to gear up and Eren screams that it's right on top of them. Shangjun says if things go south, he's staying to tank while they bail. The squad refuses, ready to throw hands together. Then Eren drops it, "It's here." Wait, is that an engine? Suddenly, a dude on a freaking scooter rolls up. Shangjun's brain just blue screens. Unbothered, Hajun casually asks if he can squeeze past them. He compliments their dragon kill, mentions his helmet is expiring, shoots them a thumbs up and says stay safe. He drops a casual warning about dark magic monsters ahead and literally scoots away. The entire elite guild is too stunned to speak. Next up, let's talk about the number 150 million, basically the population of 3 Koreas. Usually, deliveries pay out literal pennies. Bro would need 50,000 drops to make that. But boom, that's the exact cash value of his new points. Our guy cannot wipe this goofy grin off his face. Yeah, he almost turned into pork, almost became dog food and got choked by a god. He absolutely suffered for the bag, but who cares? He's rich now, and like a true capitalist king, he's ready for the next hustle. But first, his stomach demands fried chicken and cold beer. Meanwhile, a completely drained Shangjun steps out of an intense press conference. He still has to meet the association president. The grind never stops. Doyen asks if he snitched about the scooter kid. Shangjun says no way. Better to keep it low-key since the dude is a total mystery. They really should have chased him, but exhaustion won. The whole squad is still obsessed though. The blonde insists a guy on a scooter in Tartarus shouldn't be hard to track. But Shangjun shuts it down. Their job is clearing dungeons, not playing detective. Plus, they desperately need fresh gear from a mining dungeon run. Doyen groans but gives up, asking what kind of crazy metal they're after. Shangjun casually drops it, celestial metal. Cut back to our guy dominating some fried chicken when his phone violently rings. An order from the gods. He gets teleported straight into the mountains. So that's where we leave it. Trust me, you and I are totally hooked now. He's instantly dumped back at Hephaestus' crib, realizing he left his scooter behind. Someone is loudly sobbing nearby. It's the blacksmith god himself, crying because he got kicked out. Let's dive right into this crazy mess. Hajun is totally lost, asking what went down. The dwarf says he was just kicking back with his bro Dionysus when someone barged in, called him dear, and tossed them out for day drinking. Dionysus bailaid immediately, leaving this little guy behind. Hajun nods and asks for his delivery order. Looking absolutely pathetic, Hephaestus begs for literally anything edible. He hasn't had a single bite since getting booted. He even asked his sister for nectar, but she was fresh out. So now, our main character is his last hope. He feels bad, but honestly, he has zero clue what a god even eats. Sprawled out on the dirt, Hephaestus groans that meat and booze would be epic. Hajun taps his phone and tells him to hang tight. A bright flash hits, and the dwarf just lays there, suddenly sniffing the air. Hajun pops back in carrying fried chicken and cold beer, offering to share. The god is super confused, so our boy explains it is the ultimate Korean combo. The dwarf absolutely loses his mind. He swears he has never had a drink this crisp. He judged the tiny chicken wing, but one bite in. Best thing he has ever tasted. Hajun seriously doubts if this guy is actually a god. But then the dwarf promises a massive tip, pointing at his phone. His phone chimes. Hephaestus just wired him another 15,000 points. Our sneaky guy is speechless. He just made 150 grand delivering fast food. The dwarf even says to call him for anything. Suddenly, this little guy is the sweetest dude ever. Hajun almost hugs him, but then someone steps up. A voice calls out, "Dear." They both whip around. Hajun freezes solid as she asks why he is drinking again. Seriously, what is going on? It is Aphrodite, the literal goddess of love. Our protagonist is shell-shocked by her beauty. He cannot fathom how she is married to this weeping dwarf. Hephaestus instantly drops to his knees, frantically explaining he is only eating here because she kicked him out. She just glares, totally unimpressed. The dwarf is sweating bullets, and Hajun realizes he better do some damage control. But she turns, calls Hajun by his actual name, and introduces herself. The incredible charm radiating off her proves she is definitely Aphrodite. She apologizes, and Hajun plays it cool, saying he is just here for work. Hearing that, the dwarf jumps up and begs him for another delivery. Hajun hesitates, but Aphrodite smiles, noting he seems like an honest kid. So playing the hero, he confidently claims they can always rely on him. The dwarf is thrilled, though honestly, Hajun would much rather run errands for Aphrodite. Still, Hephaestus needs forge materials. He wants celestial metal from a spot right in the city. Cut to our boy cruising on his scooter, totally second-guessing his life choices. He pulls up to the Surrey Mines gate, and his heart immediately starts hammering in his chest. Watch closely because things are about to get intense. Another dungeon. He recognized the mines instantly and tried backing out, telling Hephaestus the last one nearly flatlined him. When the god asked why, our guy had to drop the hard truth. He is no hunter and his fighting skills are zero. His only lifeline was a stealth helmet, but it is busted. Hephaestus proudly demands the gear, yelling that he is the god of blacksmiths and can fix anything. Hajun gets completely hyped up and snags his helmet back. It is a repaired replica though, 2 minutes of stealth, and just 2 uses left. He steps through the gate, but it feels like a crowded theme park. He knew this dungeon was famous, but come on. Monsters aren't the issue. It is fighting the crowd to find the ore. Meanwhile, Duan is chilling and eating nearby. After 30 minutes of rough scooter driving, Hajun finally hits an empty zone. The terrain is absolute trash and his poor scooter is shaking apart. He spots basic minerals everywhere, but he needs that glowing red celestial metal. He pushes forward, wondering just how deep this goes. Then, he whips around a tight corner, and a massive skeleton walks right past him. Pure panic, but he stays invisible and guns it. Suddenly, crash, he totals his scooter. The skeleton hears the bang but looks totally confused. The bike is trashed. Hajun sighs, then smirks. He is loaded now, he can buy 10 of these. He hikes deeper in and boom. Right on a rock pile, he finally spots the glowing celestial ore. He rips off his helmet with a huge grin. Jackpot, but how does he mine it? He pulls, kicks, and wrestles the rock before totally giving up. What now? Right on cue, the system chimes in, suggesting he open the cash shop for a quick fix. The shop recommends a single-use explorer's pickaxe for a guaranteed perfect mine. The catch? It costs 4,700 points. In real-world cash, that is 47 million. Absolute madness. He remembers the entrance rents them for dirt cheap. He spins around, refusing to drop that kind of insane cash on a stupid tool. But he looks at his wrecked scooter. Yeah, that thing isn't making a return trip. Playing it safe, he bites the bullet and drops the points. The magic pickaxe spawns in his hands. He figures he will just make Hephaestus reimburse him, then takes a swing. A perfect, clean hit. The shiny ore pops free and the expensive pickaxe instantly turns to dust. The rock rolls away and he scrambles after it looking goofy. It is stupidly heavy. He finally wrestles it onto the battered scooter, wishing he could fast travel straight to Olympus. But suddenly, a massive stone ogre spawns right behind him. You know that feeling of pure terror. His helmet is off and he freezes stiff. The monster's roar literally shakes the cave. Nearby, Duan hears it while fighting skeletons. He braces for a boss fight, only for Hajun to come zooming out of the dark on his scooter, screaming to move. Duan instantly recognizes the Tartarus guy, but Hajun just flies past, yelling that he better run if he values his life. Duan is totally speechless as the scooter vanishes. Then, a low rumble sounds behind him. He slowly turns and oh man, a gigantic ogre is charging full speed. Duan sprints for his life, begging Hajun for a ride. Cut to Hajun absolutely losing it, screaming that he nearly died again. Hephaestus praises his speed, but our boy just roasts him for hiding how insane that dungeon was. The dwarf blinks, totally confused, claiming there is nothing dangerous in there. Hajun angrily tries explaining that the monster was massive. The dwarf still doesn't get it, so Hajun stomps off to grab the delivery. He drops the giant glowing block and tells the god to look at what he asked for. Hephaestus is stunned, asking what kind of beast that is. They just stare. Hajun tells him to stop playing dumb. That is his celestial metal. The god lifts the heavy stone, mind blown. He admits he has never seen celestial metal this massive or pure. Hajun is super confused. The dwarf says, "Wait here," and comes back holding a tiny pebble. He explains that little rock used to be the biggest piece ever. He tells our guy he is an absolute legend and deserves way more than the original deal. Hephaestus geeks out over the ore while Hajun checks his screen, totally stunned. The job was 20,000 points, but he gets a 30,000 bonus for the sheer size. The insane payout literally makes him dizzy. We are talking $500,000. The dwarf laughs, saying he had to pay extra for that monster haul. Hajun drops to his knees, praising him. The god tells him to stand, but our boy says his legs are thanking him too. Later, the news reports on a wild earthquake at the mines. Sangjin checks if Duwan is okay. He nods but warns the mines are shut down. When asked what went down, he mentions a giant golem and that Tartarus gate guy popping up again. The craziest part, the golem was chasing him. Hearing this, Sangjin immediately plots to recruit our delivery boy. Duwan confidently says he can track him down. He memorized the bike's license plate and snagged the security footage. The leader is hyped, knowing this guy would be a massive guild asset. Relieved Duwan is safe, he says he will handle the rest. Duwan beams with loyalty until Sangjin asks if he got any celestial metal. Cue the awkward silence. So, what do we take from this? Hajun's hustle is unreal. Staring at 75,000 points, he can finally buy a house, making absolute bank even for a top-tier hunter. Alright, you and I are diving into pure madness today. So our guy knows pure luck is the only reason he's breathing. He pops open the system shop hoping for a miracle, but spoiler alert, everything is complete garbage. The cheapest replica weapon costs a cool $1,000,000. Man, for a hot second, he seriously considers quitting the monster hunting gig entirely. Suddenly, jackpot. A level 1 racing suit catches his eye. It literally boosts physical stats based on its level. The price tag, 50,000 points. He's super salty the system hid this banger from him, but 50 grand is steep, and he has no clue if the stat buff is actually legit. Calling it a business investment, he pulls the trigger to hustle more deliveries. Boom! A massive flash of light, and the suit spawns right in front of him. No refunds now, baby. His bank drops to 25,000 points, but he is officially dripped out. Slipping it on feels trippy. It's snug, insanely lightweight, like he is wearing nothing at all, and completely breathable. Time for a test run. Meanwhile, Duwan is having an absolute meltdown downtown. He's hunting for our boy using a license plate but getting 0 hits. Since our MC is legally clean, the cops are totally useless. Duwan literally screams, raging over how to track this dude down. Right on cue, our MC rolls up and casually drops that the light is green. Duwan awkwardly apologizes, moving aside, thinking it's just a common bike. Then boom, he spots the scratch marks. It is a perfect match, right down to the plate. He screams for Hajun to freeze, but the dude is already gone. Duwan desperately chases him, jumps straight into a taxi and yells to follow that bike. The driver just roasts him, asking if he thinks he is in an action movie, and literally kicks him to the curb. Unfazed, Duwan sprints down the road, swearing he will track this biker down. But yeah, reality check, he completely collapses out of breath. A random girl asks if he is okay, recognizing him from a massive guild. Duwan immediately plays dumb, claiming major guild members do not faceplant on the pavement. He is still clueless about where our delivery legend vanished to. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoes through the street. His gut screams danger and he cautiously creeps toward the noise. Checking the area, the bike is totally missing, but his radar tells him the MC is definitely involved. Some local elders warn him the noise could trigger a literal avalanche. Duwan just flexes his major guild status, tells them to chill, and takes off sprinting again. The dude just will not stop chasing our overworked hero. Then he spots it, a giant boulder with a perfectly clean hole blasted right through the middle. His jaw drops. Even a B-rank hunter would just shatter it, but a perfect tunnel. That is straight-up divine magic. He realizes if the biker pulled this off, he has to recruit him into the guild, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, our boy Hajun is back home, totally dead on his feet but hyped about blasting that rock. For a solid minute, he was literally outrunning his own scooter. Feeling absolutely untouchable, he is ready to raid any dungeon. Ring, ring. His phone drops a new quest with a Chinese instrument ringtone this time. Location: Bukshan. Definitely a dungeon vibe. He searches Bukshan and boom, Mount Hwa Go dungeon pops up. Since there is no annoying time limit, he smartly waits for his crazy suit to recharge. But plot twist, he has zero clue he is being stalked. That blonde chick from the guild is hardcore spying on him, and Sangjin has already recorded the whole thing. Now pay attention here because the manhunt is officially on. Diane wants to flood the streets with hunters, but Sangjin needs a visual. Boom! Diane slaps down a flawless sketch of our biker. The boss is shook, realizing this guy is insanely op. Diane mentions the blasted rock, proving this is no average zero-to-hero story. Sure, Yangwon is Korea's #1 guild, but Black Dragon is creeping up fast in second place. The issue? Those guys love playing dirty and breaking laws to stack power. The big boss declares they absolutely cannot let a massive talent like Hajun fall into the hands of those super shady Black Dragon creeps. Diane swears he will bag the recruit. Cut to the next morning, Hajun rolls up to Mount Hwa Go and the place is completely packed. A dude barks at him to freeze, but psych. He was actually yelling at some little kid. Hajun instantly hears the crowd whispering those cursed words, Black Dragon Guild. Our guy knows these clowns love hijacking gates, but he just ignores the drama and walks right in. Instantly, his system pings, saying the drop-off is super close. He takes a few steps, and his phone practically screams that he is standing right on the target, leaving him scratching his head. Looking way up, he realizes the objective is at the very peak. Remembering the last giant golem, he sweats a bit, but hey, the super suit gives him a massive confidence boost. He pulls off his helmet, ready to grind. Suddenly, a voice asks for the delivery. He freezes. Yo, there is literally a monkey's head sticking out of the dirt talking to him. The monkey tells him to chill out, like chatting with animals is normal. Stunned, Hajun asks if he is the client. The monkey explains some weird kid in a winged hat promised that making a wish would summon a helper. Hajun's brain starts spinning. Is this winged hat kid pulling all the strings behind the scenes? The monkey needs a solid favor, and our MC is all ears. The dude introduces himself as the beautiful Monkey King, Sun Wukong. Hajun's anime radar instantly goes to Goku. Squatting down, he asks how a legend got trapped in the dirt. Wukong casually admits he got slammed for stealing forbidden peaches from the Jade Emperor. He just wanted a tiny bite, but wham, sealed under a mountain. Hajun gets the vibe and asks for the quest. Wukong keeps it simple. Walk the path behind him, dig through a massive pile of trash and fetch the hidden box. Easy money. You and I both saw that coming, right? Hajun thinks 6 miles is nothing and heads out, totally missing the monkey's super shady smirk. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, some random adventurers stumble onto an absolutely massive golem. It is the dungeon boss. A fearless girl steps straight to the front, telling her squad to stop shaking. Enter Johan, the terrifying master of the Black Dragon Guild, carrying a godly aura. Since Yangwon is clearing Tartarus, she knows killing this 8-trigram boss will instantly skyrocket her guild to #1. She screams out the attack order, and the blonde backup commands all the heavy tanks to rush the beast. The front line hesitates. The boss is completely frozen, but the vibe is terrifying. Suddenly, the earth totally shatters, and a colossal nightmare rises up, blocking out the sun. One ear-piercing roar has grown men crying that this fight is suicide. But the blonde drops an icy threat. Anyone who runs gets slaughtered by the guild. The fodder troops cry about their garbage weapons, but a badass redhead screams to lock in, or they will all be pancake mix. The squad nervously charges in. The blonde quietly asks the redhead if this wild strategy actually stands a chance. The redhead's response: she literally has zero idea. Back on the scooter, Hajun feels a massive earthquake. The local monsters are literally fleeing for their lives. Seeing black smoke, he knows things are going down. Even with his suit on cooldown, he zooms over. Meanwhile, the adventurers are getting absolutely bodied. One stomp flattens the front line, and the archers are doing literally zero damage. With their attacks flopping hard, the redhead locks eyes with a random mage. The dude stammers he is just here to register, not catch hands. But Shiyu drops a wild twist. If these randoms survive, it ruins her guild's flex. The mage is confused, so she literally one-punches him to sleep, securing all the glory. The chaos is too loud for anyone to notice the betrayal. The redhead triggers a jump skill, launching up and cracking the golem right in the skull. He screams to swarm the beast. After an absolute bloodbath, the giant finally crashes down. The squad goes wild, cheering and celebrating, actually believing they survived this nightmare. But no plot armor denied. The golem's gears glow red hot and it rises straight back from the dead. Johan is loving it. The boss just entered phase 2. Now it is twice as big and angry. Way in the back, Hajin is just eating popcorn, watching this insane raid unfold like a viral clip. So what do you and I make of this madness? Hajin is busy playing fetch for a literal monkey god while this boss fight pops off. Outside, poor Duwan is losing his absolute mind, dragging himself all the way from Suwon to Butchin just trying to track our boy down. Let's dive right into this. Duhyun basically treks across the entire state, but hitting the Sanju Mountain entrance, Ghost Town, totally weirds him out. Suddenly, some chubby dude with glasses yells at him. Duhyun asks who he is, but the guy catches an attitude, demanding Duhyun's identity instead. So Duhyun drops his name and asks what his deal is. He instantly knows this clown isn't association staff, probably Black Dragon Guild. So he shoves past him. Out of my way. The chubby guy is freaking out, warning him not to enter. But he can't actually stop him, so Duhyun just walks right in. That proves it. If they got guards posted outside, there is definitely a boss waiting inside. The guard sprints off to warn his crew since this zone was supposedly dead. The real fight against the 8 trigrams kicks off during phase 2. Right on cue, Hajun shows up, spotting this massive monster packing a belly laser. Yeah, he realizes this is the so-called junk that Monkey was talking about. Even rocking his suit, he's sweating. Can he actually beat this thing? Shaking, he's totally lost on what to do. Then he spots a redhead and her squad. Boom, Black Dragon Guild members. The rookies begging to quit. They are getting violently dragged right back into the death match. Then, crazily enough, this blonde dude literally jumps onto the monster's chest with a mage. Hajun is totally mind-blown. What is this guy's crazy plan? The Black Dragon thug actually starts dangling the adventurer over the burning core. The poor guy is crying, screaming he's gonna die. But the blonde jerk just blames him for running away. He literally drops him. But Hajun dashes in, clocks the blonde right in the face, and calls him a complete scumbag. The Black Dragon leader is absolutely shook. Who the heck is this kid? One-punching a B-rank hunter. Our boy Hajun plays the total hero, catching the falling guy perfectly. The adventurer cries out his thanks but warns him to run. Hajun glances around. Oh crap! He is literally sandwiched between a giant boss monster and the entire Black Dragon Guild. Watch closely because this is where it gets tense. He could easily snatch the box and dip in the chaos, but he refuses. He tells the guy to chill. He simply couldn't let a dude die for nothing. The guild leader screams at her team for stopping. Hajun glares at these idiots, but his suit only has 2 minutes and 17 seconds of juice left. Time to move. He has zero choice. The redhead is throwing a massive fit because victory was right there. A bald dude asks if the archers should fire, but she snaps back. Nope. They need more bodies first. That is the secret to crushing the 8 trigrams. While shifting from phase 1 to phase 2, the boss is totally frozen in place. Toss sacrifices into its chest and the fight becomes a total breeze. Suddenly, the bald guy points up. Look, Hajun has already launched himself insanely high, completely towering over the boss. Up there, he spots a giant crack on its skull. Something is inside. That is definitely the weak spot. Bam! He throws a brutal punch right smack onto the monster's massive head. The leader is shaking with pure rage. What is this moron doing? He is going to wake the boss. She screams at her crew to stop him right now. Dead or alive, she does not care. Just take him down. The whole guild unleashes a rain of arrows. Meanwhile, Hajun's suit ticks down to exactly 1 minute and 31 seconds. He keeps hammering the ogre's skull, practically begging it to crack. Suddenly, a red warning flashes. His body starts auto-dodging the arrows. He's freaking out, wondering why these psychos want him dead. Down below, the bald guy is sweating. This kid is dodging like an absolute god, avoiding blind spots effortlessly until bam! A stray arrow accidentally snipes the ogre right in the eye. The beast shudders, its giant eye glowing bright red. The bald guy panics, realizing they might need the entire squad just to stop this one kid. He orders the frontline charge. Hajun is just annoyed. When will this thing break? It has so many arrows stuck in it, it looks like a crazy wig. Then, earthquake. The captain drops her fan. Game over. The creature's eye hits maximum glow. Phase 2 is officially active. Hajun whines about the insane heat up top, while the entire guild below is shaking in pure terror. The golem roars, stomping down and instantly wiping out their frontline with one hit. The bald guy is screaming for orders, but the leader is totally speechless. Checkmate. Staring down this monster, she knows they are all getting cooked to literal ash. But wait, up top, Hajun is still just absolutely wailing on the monster's forehead. She is completely dumbfounded he isn't dead yet. Huge problem though. His suit. Only 10 seconds left, he keeps swinging. 8 seconds. Hits 5 seconds and he's screaming for it to just break already. 1 single second left on the clock. He winds up, throws a mega punch and completely explodes the creature's head. You and I totally felt that hit, right? Insane. Smoke clears and Doyon finally arrives, his jaw basically hitting the floor. Staring at the dead boss, he cannot believe this kid soloed it. Honestly, Doyon feels a weird connection here. Their fighting styles match perfectly, but finding him in this dungeon. Wild. He immediately sprints over. He absolutely has to recruit this beast today. Down in the crater, the Black Dragon squad actually survived. Zohan is losing her mind. How did some random loser solo the 8 trigrams? The bald guy begs for orders. Grab the kid the second the smoke lifts. Sure, he was crazy strong, but he has to be running on empty right now. She refuses to let the guy who wrecked their evil master plan just walk away. Boom, a massive explosion blasts right in front of them. Enter Do-hyun, hitting them with a super casual greeting. The whole guild instantly recognizes his face. He smirks. He knew they were behind this shady dungeon, and yeah, he already figured out their 6 sacrifice plot. Zohan is totally blindsided by his entrance. Panic mode activated. She screams at everyone to brace for combat. She points a shaking finger. He is the new target. Do not drop your guard. Zohan is sweating bullets because Do-hyun is way too strong. But suddenly, a grunt runs up. Hey, boss, we have a massive problem. She snaps back, asking what now? The guy stutters. The helmet kid, he totally vanished. Zohan and Do-hyun are completely lost. Where did he go? She lets out a massive scream of pure rage. Meanwhile, poor Neon is stuck alone against this mob. He literally just got dragged into this mess by total accident. Hamal totally booked it out of there with the helmet, convinced he was absolute toast. Bro almost took a one-way trip to the afterlife and definitely not for a delivery. He is kicking himself. Why play hero when he isn't even a registered hunter? Lesson learned. Never again. But then he squints. Way out in the distance, Suzyong True Mountain City is right there. Is the dungeon literally despawning because he flatlined the boss? See, dungeons spawn when gates get ignored forever. Once open, anyone can legally jump in and slay the boss. Super hard though. Normally, only elite association hunters can even survive that. But today, the absolute legend who solo cleared it is officially registered as a freaking delivery boy. He is just praying this does not blow up in his face. Why did he even get involved? Oh right, flashback time, back with the monkey. The furry dude complains the kid took forever. Hajun is practically crying. That delivery was completely impossible. The monkey rolls his eyes, telling him to cut the drama and spill the tea. Hajun starts cursing, you called it junk. Bro, it was a massive ogre causing literal earthquakes, and it packed a belly laser that almost roasted me. Kang is stunned. No way. Did the 8 trigrams lose its mind? It is usually a super chill monster that literally sleeps unless attacked. Click. Our boy suddenly realizes. If Black Dragon had not provoked it, this would have been a cakewalk. Oh, now he is absolutely furious, ready to bust some heads. Nobody messes with his delivery routes. The monkey assumes the kid probably failed the mission. But nope, Hajun smirks, I got it. Wukong is shocked. How? Hajun just casually drops that he blew the monster's head into pieces. He hands over the box, totally confused on why this thing is so special anyway. The monkey absolutely loses his mind laughing. Incredible. Sure, Wukong clapped that beast up in heaven, but the Earth version. It should easily wipe out any normal human. He asks for the kid's name. Hajun answers. Wukong extends a hand, officially respecting Hajun Lee. Then, boom, something violently explodes straight out of the tiny box. The blast shoots an item high into the sky. When Hajun blinks the dust away, the monkey is casually spinning a staff. He owes Hajun big time for the save. Without the kid, he would be locked up for years. Hajun gasps. The legendary golden staff. Wukong whistles, summoning his iconic flying cloud. He gotta dip right now before the Jade Emperor catches him. With that, he zooms off into the sky. See ya. Hajun is just standing there, completely dumbfounded. He doesn't even care about the skipped payment anymore. But wait, smack. A heavy sack drops right onto his face. Wukong echoes back. I ain't broke, kid. Your payment is already sorted. That sack is just a little extra bonus. Hajun yells back asking what it is, but the dude is gone. So what do you and I make of all this? Karma never misses. Later at home, Hajun is watching the news. They are hitting the Black Dragon Guild with massive criminal charges. He smiles, knowing those scumbags are finally getting wrecked. On TV, the dude Hajun saved tells reporters that absolutely nobody went in prepared for a crazy boss fight. Then the reporter asks about the mystery helmet hero. The survivor smiles big. The guy dropped in literally seconds before I got roasted alive. He soloed the 8 trigrams. Without him, we would all be totally dead. Watching this, Hajun just smiles on his couch. Yeah, all that insane hard work, completely worth it in the end. Let's kick things off with a wild payout. Our boy thought he lost his mind when his body moved on autopilot, but hey, his secret identity is safe. The best part, he just bagged 95,300 points. That is $700,000 from one single delivery. He wanted more for fighting that boss, but come on, that is straight-up luxury penthouse money. Plus, he scored a totally unexpected drop. A literal strand of hair from the great Wukong. Just put it in your palm, blow, and boom. It summons a Wukong clone. Hajun was hyped because crazy monsters are popping up everywhere lately, and this could save his life. A clone of the Monkey King is basically a free extra life. He even made a goofy face staring at it. Suddenly, another delivery pings. Jacket on, helmet secured, he is out the door. Meanwhile, cut to a hospital where the guild leader is sprinting down the hall, yelling for Doyon. Doyeon looked super rough after taking a brutal beating from the guild. He asked why the leader was even here instead of Butchin. The leader said he handled that already and blamed himself for Doyeon's injuries, but the kid insisted it totally was not his boss's fault. Doyeon admitted he misread things and totally messed up by messing with those black dragon creeps. Sungjun was seeing red. Nobody attacks his guild. He swore he would crush them himself next time. Then he asked for the damage report, and Doyeon said the doctors gave him terrible news. Sungjun completely panicked, thinking the kid's hunter career was over. But the little brat burst out laughing. He totally fell for it. It was just a tiny arm fracture. He laughed right in his leader's face, asking if he would really quit over that. Sungjun grabbed his cheek, threatening early retirement. Dorian fired back that he is following his leader forever. Then, the boss asked the big question. Did that kid really solo the 8 trigrams? Dorian confirmed he watched the guy completely shatter a monster's skull with a single bare-handed punch. As a martial artist, his mind was absolutely blown. The leader asked if the search squad found the op kid. Sungjun sighed and said nope. Cameras caught him hitting an alley, then poof. High up in the sky, Hajun sneezed, complaining about the freezing wind. He finally reached Hephaestus's boiling hot house, but the dwarf was totally in the zone. Hajun grabbed a seat to wait it out. The insanely warm room made him super sleepy, reminding him of his mother's cozy hugs. Suddenly, Hephaestus snapped him awake with a massive bear hug, asking when he arrived. Startled, Hajun yelled, wondering when the heck this dwarf snuck up on him. The dwarf noted the kid looked totally exhausted, but this next delivery was a massive distance. Could he handle it? Hajun did the math. Farther trip equals fatter paycheck. He grinned, saying he would walk across the globe for good cash. Smiling, Hephaestus pulled out a brand new staff. Now pay attention here because things take a weird turn. Hephaestus crafted this staff using Hajun's materials and it needed same-day shipping. Hajun asked for the drop point and the dwarf said a pyramid. Hajun was completely stunned. Airmail, maybe? Plus, last time he checked, pyramids were not Greek mythology. With a cheeky wink, Hephaestus bragged about having VIP clients outside Olympus. Annoyed, Hajun snatched it, promising to finish the job in a few hours. But wait, the dwarf stopped him, saying this client was super weird, so he hired an assistant for the trip. Hajun was just insanely confused. Someone suddenly popped up, claiming Cupid sent them, introducing herself as Lucio. Despite the dude name, Lucio was definitely a girl. Hajun decided not to stress over it and just gunned his scooter. Luckily, this floating Egyptian sky city meant 0 traffic jams for his ride. Suddenly, Lucio started screaming that she got scammed. She signed up to help a legendary blacksmith, not ride shotgun with some random human. She repeatedly kicked Hajun's helmet. Irritated, he called her an incredibly annoying tiny fairy. She fiercely snapped back that she was huge for a nymph. An hour ago, she literally told the dwarf it was an absolute honor to serve him. Hajun tried so hard to leave her behind, but Hephaestus insisted. Hajun practically begged to go solo, but the blacksmith explained it was not about trust. Hajun was clueless about the route, and Lucio knew the way. So she was supposed to be his GPS, right? Instead, she sat on his scooter picking her nose, whining about human transport. She just kept kicking his head, aggressively demanding his ETA. He totally ignored her, which only made her yell louder. He finally told her if she just zipped it, he would leave her a perfect 5-star review with Hephaestus. For Lucio, being called useless was social suicide. Fairies are basically treated like royalty. She refused to accept it, whining non-stop until Hajun suddenly popped a piece of candy into her mouth. Hajun told her the candy was just to shut her trap, promising more if she kept quiet. Lucio had never tasted sugar before, and it blew her mind like absolute heaven. She warned him not to scam her, and he swore he always honors his deals. Candy fixes everything with kids. With her finally quiet, they were just 800 meters from the drop. He enjoyed 5 seconds of zen before two glowing eyes pierced the fog. He hit the brakes, completely engulfed in mist. Super annoyed, he demanded why Lucio stayed quiet. She blamed the candy. He yanked her off the bike. Okay, you and I definitely didn't see this coming. Standing right there was a massive sphinx. It demanded they solve a riddle to pass. Lucio panicked, screaming that it eats losers. This beast was linked to the legendary Siphon and our boy Hajun. Yeah, he wasn't exactly a powerhouse yet. One look at its insane size and he knew throwing hands was useless. His phone suddenly buzzed and he just prayed this run paid extra. He confidently walked up. Lucio freaked out, begging him to stop before he got eaten. But Hajun was totally chill. He figured it would just ask that famous, generic Sphinx riddle everyone knows. Plus, worst-case scenario, he could just pop that Wukong hair. The massive Sphinx leaned in and asked if he was ready. Hajun rudely told it to hurry up because he had a delivery schedule to keep. Lucio was bawling her eyes out. The Sphinx just smirked, telling them to brace themselves. Hajun was totally expecting that basic 4 legs in the morning riddle. Honestly, grandpas hit the gym so hard nowadays they do not even use canes. He felt insanely confident. But then the Sphinx dropped this bomb. What do you call the sound a duck makes when it falls over? Hajun's jaw literally hit the floor. He stared blankly. What kind of garbage duck trivia was this? Lucio panicked, yelling that ducks go quack, then started sobbing because she didn't know their injury sounds. Someone was watching them through a magic sphere, and Lucio really did not want to become Monster Chow. That crystal ball belonged to a mysterious woman in Egyptian gear, highly amused by these two intruders. The Sphinx glared, demanding an answer right now. Hajun was sweating. Was this a terrible dad joke? Wait, it is a Sphinx. It had to be a pun. It grinned, giving him 3 minutes. Lucio absolutely lost it, sobbing that this was totally impossible. If an elite scholar like her was stumped, they were doomed. She furiously blamed Hajun. She flashed back to her teacher, warning her that over 100 people got eaten alive before anyone ever solved one of these riddles. She remembered asking if they were unbeatable, and her teacher said even the great Jim failed, so just run. Now she was crying her eyes out, waiting for the end. Then Hajun casually turned around and said the answer was a quaccident. Quack plus accident. Lucio froze solid. What the heck was he doing? So what do you and I make of this? He bet their lives on a pun, but the Sphinx actually smiled and said he was absolutely correct. Lucio snapped, screaming how that nonsense worked. Hajun smirked, calling it an obvious joke. The beast started praising him, but Hajun just told it to shut up. Let's jump right back into the madness. You and I both know he solved this mess, so she needs to move. The Sphinx just stands there, totally confused by his hostile vibe. He straight up tells her to find a better riddle because that one absolutely sucked. The poor girl starts crying. He turns around like, wait, are you actually crying? She blames it on sand in her eye, while Lucio is still stunned he actually got it right. Hajun tells her to hang tight because he is hitting the gas. After a bit, they enter a dark passage and Lucio calls out to him, sounding super unsure. He asks what is wrong, and she actually apologizes for earlier. She was supposed to be helping him, but instead, she just kept looking down on him for being a normal human. She even admits she does not deserve to be called a mega elite anymore. Hajun tells her to chill and stop being so hard on herself. Honestly, compared to the trash talk he usually gets, this was nothing. To him, she just sounded like some annoying little cousin, so he did not even care. Lucio gets all shy and actually thanks him. Later on, they finally reach the massive pyramid. This thing is so huge that even Lucio cannot see the top. Hajun starts looking around. The map confirms this is the exact spot. Then she spots some strange writing nearby. They walk up to a box covered in old Egyptian text and she translates it, saying to ring the doorbell. He is honestly impressed she can read hieroglyphs, and she brags about being an elite again. So he presses the button. Instantly, everything starts shaking violently. She realizes it is gravity magic, which makes absolutely zero sense for a doorbell. Boom, the ground literally opens up beneath them, dropping them straight down a giant hole. A while later, he is on the floor, totally shocked he even survived that insane drop. But wait, he landed right on top of Lucio, almost crushing her soul out. He asks if she is dead, and she snaps back, sadly no. Then they keep moving through the dark pyramid halls. Hajun is thinking this feels way more like a dungeon raid than a simple delivery, when Lucio suddenly yells at him to stop. He instantly asks if they triggered a trap. She tells him to shine his light on the wall so she can read the ancient writing. Seeing the creepy hieroglyphs, he asks why the painting shows tiny humans with a massive giant. Lucio looks terrified, and he asks if she figured out the puzzle. She says she heard rumors of an evil goddess who loved torturing nymphs. She is convinced these drawings are warnings from her ancestors about those brutal attacks. But to Hajun, it looks less like horrible suffering and more like some happy field festival. Still, Lucio gets super hyped, declaring this is her chance to avenge her ancestors. Hajun quickly tells her to pipe down, since that evil goddess is literally their paying client. Now pay attention, because here is where it gets wild. A mysterious leg steps into view, asking what all this vengeance talk is about. The woman turns, asking why they barged into her home. Smiling like Cleopatra, she calls them incredibly rude. Then she asks who exactly wants revenge. Meanwhile, Hajun is completely blind here. But Lucio just flies straight at her, screaming that she is here to avenge her fallen ancestors. The main character tells her to chill out, asking what on earth she is doing. The Egyptian woman just smiles warmly and asks if she is a nymph, saying it has been forever since she saw one. Then she just hugs her tight, calling her totally adorable. While getting squished, Lucio yells for the enemy to let go. Hajun just stands there, totally clueless. Later, the woman explains that way back, they threw massive festivals for nymphs, and the young ones were just so cute. She is honestly sad they are gone. Hajun deadpans that he finally gets how they all died. She probably hugged them to death. And Lucio is currently living proof. The woman finally lets her go, saying she just cannot control herself around something that freaking adorable. Lucio is crying, swearing she almost died. Then she yells at Hajun for not saving her, but he just tells her to relax. They start bickering, with Lucio shouting that he called her family. How do you let family die? The woman cuts into their argument to finally introduce herself. She rules the two brightest lands and is the literal divine reincarnation of the mighty Horus, a real pharaoh. But the duo just completely ignores her and keeps arguing. Mid-fight, Hajun asks what this whole pharaoh thing even means. Was not Egypt just a regular kingdom? Lucio roasts him for knowing absolutely nothing. She explains there are two types of gods. One's born divine, like Cupid or Hephaestus, and mortals who actually reached godhood, just like the crazy powerful woman standing right in front of them. The pharaoh gets annoyed, asking why they are calling her an old lady. Hajun quickly changes the subject, saying he has a delivery, and she smirks, saying she already knew. She watched his entire crazy trip here. Right then, the package magically flies straight into her hands. Looking it over, she admits the quality is insane. The craftsman has serious skills and the design is absolutely flawless. She adds that Hajun, the delivery guy, totally lives up to his legendary reputation. That just confuses the heck out of our poor boy. Since when does he have a reputation? Still, the job is done. He thanks her and smoothly mentions any bonus can go straight to his bank account. Lucio cringes hard, calling it super embarrassing to work with someone so greedy, asking where his pride went. Hajun claps back that pride does not buy dinner. That money she is mocking is exactly what pays for all her favorite candy. Hearing that, she gets super hyped and tells him to secure that massive bag. The pharaoh laughs, saying their friendship is adorable, and tells them not to sweat the payment. She is a generous goddess after all. He scores 50,000 for the job and another 50,000 as a sweet bonus. That brings his balance to 1,950,000 points. This absolute rascal now has a total of $19 million. Lucio demands candy since she helped. He tells her chill, he will buy a whole store. She gets ecstatic and demands 90% of the profits, leaving him totally speechless. But the goddess warns them to never use that tunnel again and just use the front door. She has fond memories down there, but taking basement deliveries makes zero sense. Lucio points out the writing clearly said to ring the bell if guards were missing. The pharaoh just sighs and explains there have not been guards there in literally years. They should have just knocked on the regular front door. I know what you are thinking, all that drama for a broken doorbell. Yep, they should have just taken the stairs. Anyway, the delivery is done and he is back at Hephaestus's place. He is dead tired but alive. He tells Lucio to wake up because she is literally drooling on his hand. Blinking awake, she asks if they are back. He nods and she realizes they are right at the front gate. She hops on the radio to thank him for the day, admitting she actually had fun. He wonders why she is acting all sweet suddenly. Then it hits him. The job is over, so they are parting ways. Smiling, he admits it was nice having her around, even if she never stops talking. She yells at him to shut up and stop ruining the touching vibe, and he just laughs, saying he is only being honest. But the second they step inside, they both loudly declare they never want to work together again. Still, Hajun secretly did not expect them to vibe this well. Suddenly, Hephaestus appears. He says the client praised them like crazy, so he thinks they should permanently team up. The two just look at each other, honestly considering it for a second. Then they bump heads and declare they will only do it if everyone begs them. And remember, the last chapter ended with these two crashing into each other, swearing they would never team up. Cut to the next scene. Our boy is sleeping peacefully in his room until a voice suddenly calls out his name. He wakes up to Lucio violently shaking him, screaming to get up. He completely freaks out, asking what she is doing in his room. She just covers her ears, whining about why he is yelling at poor little Lucio. Then she asks if he actually forgot they are officially partners now. That makes him flash back to refusing the team up, until Hephaestus literally started crying, saying he never asked his child for a favor before. So Hajun caved. The biggest problem was not just being her partner. Now he actually has to live with this daily headache. He groans, asking why she woke him up when he was sleeping like a baby. Lucio points out that some annoying noise will not stop. He is super confused until he checks his phone and sees an alert from Manhwa. He has absolutely no clue what Manhwa is, but delivery orders are flooding in like crazy. Then he looks closer and realizes the tragic truth. These are basic delivery jobs, just regular Chinese food across the city. The dude who was literally making millions a second ago is now pulling in $5 or $10 a trip. Then it hits him. It has already been a full week since this whole crazy system started, back when he made that first weird delivery. Lucio asks what is wrong and if he is all right, but he brushes it off. Lucio is not letting this go, though. She grabs his shirt, demanding a real explanation because she wants to know what is up. Before he can even form an answer, his phone rings. He completely freezes. It is his old real-world manager calling. The exact second he answers, the guy is already screaming. He yells, asking if Hajun is blind to the mountain of orders and why he is slacking off. We finally learn Manhwa is his old normal delivery job. The boss claims he was being super generous by ending his suspension early. He threatens that if the main character does not start his shift right this second, he is completely fired. But our boy Hajun Lee just snaps and says, "Go ahead." He honestly does not care anymore. The boss asks if he has lost his mind, but Hajun keeps pushing back, basically saying, "What are you gonna do about it?" Lucio even whips out a power meter, casually dropping that his rage just spiked over 40,000. Then the meter literally shatters. The boss warns that getting blacklisted means 0 future jobs. Hajun just coldly replies he still does not care. The manager tries to keep yelling, but our boy just hangs up. The guy is left crying, especially after his bald head got roasted. Lucio asks if he is truly okay. He just smiles, saying he is great, time to eat. So where do you and I go from here? Because back at the guild, Song Jun is furious they still cannot find him. All right, stick with me here, because things are getting wild. Ajeng tells Su they scoured every street, but the mystery guy is nowhere. He figures the target is hiding on purpose. Song Jun sighs. He already has enough headaches without tracking down this random dude, so he calls off the search entirely. Then they bring up the Busan situation, and honestly, it is bad news. Those 6 rank hunters totally failed to close the gate. In 5 days, it becomes a massive dungeon. Song Jun nods. When the association handed his top-tier guild this abandoned building job, he never expected 6 elites to choke. But suddenly, he smirks. He actually thinks this could work out perfectly. He tells his team to gear up and move out, ready to remind the whole country why his guild is #1. Meanwhile, Ajeng is just crushing a spicy instant noodle cup. He jokes that hanging up on his bald manager was the best feeling ever. Sitting right across from him, Lucio is totally losing her mind over the food. She claims this is the best meal of her life and begs for more. He warns her not to spill, but she just keeps hyping it up. To her, human food is basically magic. He realizes she has literally never tasted anything good before. He has to remind her it is just cheap ramen. Even strangers start whispering, feeling bad that this young single dad is feeding his kid instant noodles on the street. Outside, Lucio is completely stuffed. As he wipes her messy face, reminding her she ate way too much, it suddenly hits him. This girl does not feel like a business partner at all. He basically just adopted a daughter. People are still whispering about the sad single dad. He feels the whole neighborhood judging him. If Lucio is going to stay, maybe his tiny place is not going to cut it. He mentions moving, and she absolutely loses it. Anything beats his cramped fish tank. She immediately points at a massive, super fancy luxury apartment building nearby. He squishes her cheeks, laughing that she has zero clue how crazy expensive that place is. Pouting, she asks about all his pyramid money. Wait, he checks his points. Over $1 million. Moving into a mega apartment might actually happen. Lucio is already jumping around, hyped about a big house. Now pay attention, because our delivery boy is actually apartment hunting. The place is brand new and looks insane. The agent says 2 weeks until move-in, talking non-stop, but Hajun cuts him right off. He loves the vibe and says it is totally fine. But he still wants to keep his options open. He tells Lucio they are leaving to check other spots, though she whines about wanting to stay. He picks her up, totally undecided. Suddenly, he catches a glimpse of a familiar girl. Later on, Lucio is back to inhaling more noodles. She stops and asks why he is not eating. Honestly, he is too busy staring at his shiny new lease, totally mind-blown that he bought a house in 1 day. They checked other spots, but he went with the first one. Still, he cannot stop thinking about that girl he saw. Then it clicks. He saw her back at the Tartarus gate. She is a hunter. He figures his helmet hid his identity anyway, so whatever. But there is a much bigger issue right now. No new delivery requests. Lucio argues they just did one 2 days ago. She thinks that is fine, but he is used to daily jobs. She tells him to drop the endless greed before it bites him, since he is already loaded. Well, he admits she was right until yesterday. He had 19 million, but the down payment instantly drained 12 million. Add in installments, furniture, and food, and he realizes he is broke again. Lucio is shocked, yelling that pyramid cash could buy a god-tier castle. Real estate in Korea is just brutal. She asks what the plan is. Simple, he says, they save money. That means no more sweets. She looks totally crushed, but then her brain goes to work. Why wait around? She suggests going door to door. They can just ask Hephaestus to find them some gods who need stuff delivered. He messes up her hair, admitting that is actually genius. Only problem, getting into Olympus. She thinks it is super easy since he goes there constantly, but he explains the deliveries literally teleport him. Without a job, he is stuck. Lucio immediately looks super disappointed. Meanwhile, a helicopter flies the guild over. 45 hunters are ready, including number 2, Aaron Barrick, plus his neighbor Sangjin. The leader hypes them up, saying they need to smash this new gate and restore their glory. Everyone goes wild as the chopper speeds off. You see where this is going, right? Inside, the boss asks if the motorcycle guy really moved in next door. With her crazy good memory, she confirms it is highly likely. The guild leader is devastated. They wasted huge resources searching, and the guy was literally right next to her. Well, at least Team 1 has an easy target now. Aaron is grinning, pumped to eventually fight the legend who soloed those 8 rams. Cutting back to the forge, the main character just walks right in, but it is totally dark. Lucio starts freaking out, whispering they need to bounce before they get busted for trespassing. He says whatever, she is the one who showed him the path, but she insists breaking into a house is just wrong. He thinks that is pretty rich coming from a girl who constantly calls the forge owner a total hack. Suddenly, a foot slams onto his back, demanding to know who broke in. It is just Hephaestus. The god is super confused since he did not order anything. The kid explains he needs a huge favor, but first, a gift. He whips out a brand new bottle of soju. Since the dwarf liked the beer, he figured this would hit the spot. Acting tough, Hephaestus tells him to just ask for the favor already. Leja immediately asks if any gods are hiring for delivery jobs right now. The dwarf thinks about it. A few names pop up, but the missions are absolute suicide. Leja does not even blink. He takes the deal. Being broke is way scarier than dying. Hephaestus smirks, deciding the kid is ready, and teleports him instantly. A blue flash and he is suddenly dumped in a random thick forest. Hephaestus gave 0 details. Then the system screams, "Danger detected." Lujin whips around, locking eyes with a giant, 3-eyed demon boar charging right at him. He braces himself, totally unable to dodge. Out of nowhere, an arrow rips through the bushes, nailing the beast right in the skull. Instant kill. He spins around, completely lost. Then a familiar blue glow pops up, cheering that they almost died. He is absolutely shocked. He had no clue Lucio tagged along. She claims she teleported right behind him. She praises him for taking down such a legendary beast. Trembling, Lujin admits he did not shoot that arrow. Suddenly, a weird old guy steps out, saying it was his kill. The stranger is shocked to see a human and a nymph here. Lujin is just staring. The dude is half man, half horse. His phone chimes, confirming the destination. This crazy horse guy is the client. The old man asks who they are. The second Lucio spots his injured leg, she realizes exactly who this is. He trained Jason, Achilles, and even Hercules. This is Chiron, the legendary teacher. But the moment she says Hercules, he aims his bow right at them. And that is where we leave it. Trust me, you are not ready for what happens next. Stick with me here, our guy is staring down a loaded arrow. Chiron screams about the trauma that name brings. Lee frantically yells that Hephaestus sent them. That buys 1 second of calm before Chiron totally loses it, unleashing a massive storm of arrows. Luckily, his gear lets him dodge while the forest gets absolutely shredded. Later inside his house, they finally explain the whole crazy story. Chiron actually finds it interesting, knowing Hephaestus wouldn't just send randoms. Still, he looks at our boy and thinks, zero hero vibes here. But hey, he is traveling with a nymph, and even top-tier legends rarely snagged backup like that. Meanwhile, Lee whispers, asking why this centaur is still so suspicious. Lucio is clueless, swearing he was supposed to be super nice. Finally, Chiron buys their story and they both exhale hard. He asks if they can really retrieve anything. Lee flexes a yes, earning his shot. Chiron hands over an empty jar pointing north to a massive lake. The mission: collects saliva from some fool living there. Lee grabs the container but totally freezes. Wait, is this dude seriously asking him to harvest a jar of spit? Chiron deadpans a yes, asking if there's an issue with that. Lee thinks it's a wildly gross invasion of privacy but agrees anyway. No shot he's passing up a fat paycheck. Chiron watches him leave, thinking the kid is an absolute idiot for not fearing the danger ahead. But hey, it's the ultimate test. Pass this, and his next gig is the frozen mountain, a literally impossible human feat. Chiron totally doubts the kid will even reach the plaza. But then, Lee fires up his suit and blasts straight into the sky. Chiron is left completely speechless as our boy zooms off holding Lucio. He's a pro with this suit now, maintaining max speed up the mountain and sticking a perfect landing at the cave. He powers down with 32 seconds of flight time to spare. Lucio, meanwhile, looks totally motion sick. Inside the cave, Lee is ready to secure the spit, but they find absolutely nothing. Then he notices Lucio sweating bullets. She shakily claims she's an elite warrior who fears nothing, but her trembling says otherwise. Then drip, a single drop hits the floor. Lucio shrieks and Lee tries to chill her out, joking that no boss monster is spawning. Classic Jinx. He instantly senses movement, turns around and locks eyes with a massive 36-headed serpent. Yeah, the legendary Hydra. Good news, getting spit is gonna be super easy. Bad news, this boss is insanely overpowered. Back home, Chiron is mad confused. He figured the guy was just a mortal, and there's no way he reached the mountain this fast. Then he spots the launch crater, uses a tracking skill, and realizes, holy crap, the kid actually made it. Now pay attention, because things are about to get wild. Chiron tries leaping over, but his bad leg slows him down. He knows that cave holds an immortal nightmare. Meanwhile, Lee forces a super awkward smile, fully aware his survival odds are basically zero right now. A second later, he's booking it with Lucio, cursing Chiron for completely baiting them. The Hydra aggressively scans the area while they hide. Lee whispers they just need to wait for nap time. But a terrified Lucio reveals she knows exactly what this beast is, a legendary Hydra. She cries, asking why he ever took this cursed gig. He claps back that he wouldn't have if the horseman told the truth. With his invisibility helmet, he'd stand a chance, but right now he's totally exposed. Suddenly, a clutch system window pops up. Emergency delivery is available. It won't teleport him out, but for 5,000 points, he can literally instant deliver shop items straight to his hands. Only issue, the delivery fee is 35,000 coins, while the helmet itself is just 800, absolute scam levels. But survival comes first, so he bites the bullet and pays up. Boom, helmet secured. Lucio completely freaks out over the magic trick. Lee just sighs, mourning his violently murdered bank account. He equips the cursed helmet and mutters, "All right, Hydra, open wide." Then he literally walks straight toward danger. Lucio is losing her mind, screaming that the exit is backward. Lee calmly says he's got this. She frantically warns him this isn't a starter mob, it's an endgame boss. This thing is a god's child with venom so toxic even Olympus sweats. Our guy roasts it, saying Typhon had awful taste making such an ugly kid. Lucio screams to stop trolling, this boss makes the Sphinx look weak. He tells her to wait and promises he'll be fine. Furious, she storms off, wishing him severe acid burns. Talk about a harsh goodbye. Anyway, time to go to work. Under the helmet's stealth, he creeps right up. The Hydra is sleeping with its eyes wide open, venom heavily dripping. He whips out his container but watches the spit literally melt through solid rock. He instantly realizes a basic jar won't survive holding this stuff. He has zero clue why Chiron wants this acid, but the payout better be huge. Then the whole cave violently shakes. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, it gets worse. He literally drops the container. Total disaster mode activated. His hand is awkwardly pressed against the Hydra's eyeball. How is he supposed to steal spit now? The beast stares right through him and he internally screams, slapping a hand over his own mouth. Chill out, he tells himself. The helmet is still working, so he's totally invisible. But then, a deep voice suddenly asks who is there. The monster claims she smells rotting underworld spirits, a vintage scent she hasn't caught in centuries. Did he come from Tartarus? Hajun's brain short-circuits. She totally sniffed him out. The voice tells him to relax, fully knowing he's rocking Hades' helmet. With his cover literally blown by his own stench, he freezes as she demands why he visited her. Absolute cold sweat dripping down his spine. He definitely can't admit he's the local spit burglar. The snake heads swarm him and one guesses Hades sent him. As the heads start loudly arguing with each other, the main voice demands answers. Speak up, because waking her up for no reason is a huge mistake. So he pulls the ultimate bluff. He drops the helmet and claims he traveled from Tartarus just to check on her. She's completely stunned. She assumes Cerberus sent him, and our guy eagerly nods along. Super awkwardly, he lies that Cerberus missed his big sister and wanted a wellness check. The Hydra gets totally emotional, shocked that the bastard actually cares. Zero contact for over 1,000 years and now this. Hajun is flabbergasted but knows he can't lower his guard around this raid boss. Meanwhile, outside the cave, Lucio is completely raging and close to literal tears. Convinced our guy is dead meat, she sprints down for backup. She bumps into Chiron, who's confused she's solo. She screams that Hajun is facing the Hydra. Chiron's jaw drops. He never expected the kid to push that deep. When she aggressively begs for a rescue, he drops a bombshell. Even a divine being like him can't solo that beast. Lucio is frantic, demanding a game plan. Guilt hits Chiron hard, realizing he should have just sent the kid packing instead of giving this insane test. Sighing heavily, he tells her to lead the way. He absolutely refuses to let the boy die on his watch. Back inside, Hajun is still buffering. He never saw the human form twist coming. She chuckles, saying being trapped here meant she couldn't rock her true look. Not even her brother has seen this glow-up. Hajun connects the dots, brother equals Cerberus. With puppy dog eyes, the terrifying monster softly asks how her little bro is doing, clearly missing him. He smoothly claims Cerberus is thriving, eating well and working hard. He totally skips the detail about him being Persephone's little pet. The Hydra smiles, feeling super relieved. Job done. Hajun tries dipping out, but the second he turns around, she demands he stop and he instantly freezes. She insists any friend of her little bro can't leave empty-handed. His entire body clenches as he awkwardly declines the loot. But nope, she's not taking no for an answer. She turns her back and tells him to yank off an odd-colored scale. He totally hesitates, confused why she's offering her own armor. She promises her magic scale will massively boost his journey. Hearing that, he's completely sold. It's basically free legendary loot. Still paranoid about getting turned to stone, he nervously fires up the suit and rips the scale clean off. That's where we leave it, trust me. You're going to want to see what he does with this. Stick with me here, this gets wild. The suit glitches, slamming him down. He grins with the crystal, but the Hydra is furious. She says he got way too cocky, threatening to end him. Hajun scrambles up, panicking, swearing it was just an accident. Chiron is literally shaking, completely mind blown. He screams, asking if the kid actually bodied the Hydra. On screen, our boy glows with insane power while the beast is flopped over. Lucio tackles Hajun with a hug, thrilled he is alive. He glares, reminding her he told her to wait outside. She pouts, crying that she was terrified. As they bicker, Chiron is still glitching out. A human beating the Hydra. Hercules barely pulled that off. Hajun turns, apologizing to the giant beast for the yelling. She brushes it off, casually asking if the nymph is his girl. He denies it fast, calling her an annoying neighborhood kid. The Hydra smiles, loving their vibe. Then she stares at Chiron. He looks completely washed. Did time wreck his immortality or did her venom break him? Hajun is super confused about their crazy beef, while Lucio just laughs. Their backstory is legendary. It features Hercules, a poison arrow, and Chiron losing his godhood. Officially, a total accident. During a massive brawl, centaurs were dropping everywhere, and Chiron caught a venomous arrow to the leg. But honestly, maybe it was pure karma for training an absolute monster like Hercules. Kneeling before Zeus, Chiron begged to ditch his immortality. He pleaded for him to take it because the agony was literally unbearable. Zeus finally agreed. As a massive reward for training awesome heroes, Zeus gifted him his very own constellation. Chiron asked what it meant, but Zeus was super cryptic, saying he would understand later. He tried to argue, but the deal was done. He leveled up into the divine commander of Sagittarius. Back in the cave, the Hydra smirks. Her poison is an instant game over, so she is completely shocked he is still breathing. He is draining his mythic points just to tank the damage. Chiron looks super rough, snapping that her tongue is still trash. She smirks, teasing that he used to be a total softie. Then she turns, casually asking if he is Hajun. He nods, brain buffering, when boom, a flash blinds them all. The Hydra holds up a vial, knowing he wanted her saliva for Chiron. Our guy is stunned, asking if she knew all along. She cracks up. Obviously, he reeked of centaur. Then she dares Chiron to take it. Now watch this closely because everything changes here. Chiron hesitates, demanding her price. But the Hydra drops a massive truth bomb. She never poisoned him. That was Hercules. Hajun is completely shook. This literally rewrites mythology, and our boy is just processing this absolute madness. The Hydra offers the vial, waiting ages for this. Chiron grabs it and chugs the whole thing. Bro, what? His body immediately bursts into flames. The dark poison races up his leg. He blacks out and hits the dirt hard. Hajun totally freaks out, screaming at her for double-crossing them. Wait, is that laughter? Chiron is on the ground bawling happy tears. His leg is totally cured. For almost 4,000 years, this dude walked around with max-level agony. He forgot what being pain-free even felt like. The Hydra gives him a gentle pat, saying that must have sucked. Hajun and Lucio rush over. Later at Chiron's crib, they wonder what is taking so long. Hajun whines about getting scammed, but Lucio tells him to chill. He pouts, realizing he did zero work since the Hydra handed over the loot herself. He has zero ground to stand on. Chiron finally walks in, apologizing for the delay. Hajun is ready to talk trash, but Lucio slaps a hand over his mouth. She asks if he was grabbing his legendary bow, and he nods. Made originally for Hercules, he thinks Hajun is a better fit. Being a massive noob, our boy grumbles, wishing for cash instead of some random bow. He grabs it anyway. Suddenly, the door flies open. They jump, and a guy strolls in, casually apologizing for crashing the party. Lucio recognizes him, and wow, that sword is pure drip. It is Ares, the god of war. Clueless, Hajun mutters about him being Olympus's biggest menace. Lucio panics, whispering he is the prince of gods. Ares just smirks, saying it is super weird seeing a mortal with a nymph. Ares asks if he is Hajun Lee, and he nods. The god blitzes forward but face plants onto the floor. He begs for help, leaving our MC confused. At 27, he made a god his lackey. Later on a train, Lucio freaks out about this super-fast car. He shushes her, explaining it is a train. Our boy is absolutely dead tired, jumping from one insane quest to another. Suddenly, his phone pings. 100,000 coins from Chiron plus a massive bonus. His fatigue instantly vanishes, until the guy behind them tells them to shut up. Lucio laughs, but he doesn't care. He just bagged $1.5 million, the real problem, saving Ares's hunter in 5 hours. Back at the house, Ares says he sponsored a hunter who dies today. Hajun asks why the god can't just do it. I know what you are thinking. Just use god powers, right? Well, gods cannot mess with human fate, but Ares is sweating bullets. He refuses to let this guy die because he literally bet everything on him. See, gods can dump their mythic points into elite hunters to massively buff their power. Hunter gets famous, the god gets rich. But if the hunter dies, the god loses everything. Chiron calls him absolutely unhinged for going all in. Yep, the god of war is a massive gambling addict. Now he is shaking, begging for help because he didn't just gamble his own stash. He totally stole his dad's stash. Hajun and Lucio freeze, realizing Ares gambled away Zeus's entire fortune. Back on the train, our boy stresses. He is no miracle worker. How can he bodyguard a myth-tier hunter? But hey, Ares is desperate, so the payout will be astronomical. Lucio asks about the destination, and he flashes a ticket to Busan. Cut to a dark cave littered with monster corpses. Sung Jin screams for his squad to brace themselves. The next wave drops, and he shreds them like paper. So this is the dude running on god-tier points, casually deleting monsters. The monster swarms won't stop. Our boy's future waifu is there, slicing up beasts beside them. Sung Jin hears the rear is secure, so he calls a timeout. The totally exhausted team finally sits down to rest. The leader asks for the boss ETA, and someone says they are super close. Speedrunning this in half the time is wild. Sung Jin mentions even rank 6 hunters retreated, so the boss is no joke. A teammate warns it is a 10-meter behemoth. If they were full HP maybe, but facing it totally drained. Rough. Sung Jin praises the retreat, then stands up, ready to move so he can go home. The group stacks at a massive door, knowing the boss is waiting. It opens. He sends the tanks first, stepping into an absolutely gigantic cavern. But plot twist, it is completely empty. Everyone looks around, confused. Then weird drops splatter onto Erin's gear. She looks up, her face instantly going pale. She screams for everyone to run. Too late. A wave of purple slime crashes down, and Sung Jin yells as several adventurers get dragged away. We just witnessed a total setup. Sung Jin demands answers, but tentacles explode from the guy's mouth. He whispers he brought his mother snacks. A massive jelly monster hangs above them. Trust me, you want to see what happens next. Let's jump right into this. We catch up with Hagen and Lucio staring down a massive portal. Yeah, we all know exactly who he's going in for. Lucio is super salty she can't tag along. Hagen shoots her down. This gate is second only to Tartarus. He gets she's worried since he nearly died yesterday, but hey, he only packed one helmet. Hagen gets a bright idea and drops some cash, telling her to go wild on sweets. Lucio literally throws it back. She is not that cheap. He just shrugs. Too bad, because that could score 50 pieces of candy. Instantly, her whole expression completely flips once she does the math. While she's buffering, he steps into the portal. He tells her to bounce any strangers who show up. One flash of light later, he's inside a dark cave dungeon. He steps in something totally gross. Then he sees it. A massive pile of dead monsters. Suddenly, it all makes sense why everyone here is screwed. The mob density is just way too high. Bad news. He's stuck here too and has to clear all of them. If he had his motorcycle, easy money. But he doesn't, and his suit is on cool down. 10 seconds in and he is already bricked. But wait. The system shop pops up with an emergency buy option. He gets super hyped for a second until he checks the price tag. Summoning his ride costs 100,000 points. What kind of wheels cost 1,000,000,000 won? While he's raging, someone sneaks up. He jumps and accidentally clicks buy. It's Lucio. She says there was 0 chance she'd let him go solo. Just like that, 100 grand down the drain. He asks what she's doing here. He literally told her to stay back. Stubborn as ever, Lucio fires back that she already said she was coming. Hagen is about to lose it when something flashes next to them. Lucio points it out. Right on cue, the motorcycle spawns in. But wait, this is not his old junker. My man just copped a brand new model. He is instantly hyped. Lucky, because a massive monster swarm is rushing them. He tosses Lucio on the back and peels out through the dungeon. Back in the boss room, purple slime is raining down. Sungjin realizes this was the boss's master plan. Everyone is locked down by tentacles except him. He frantically looks for a save, but an attack drops right from the ceiling. He barely dodges and fires back a crazy storm of slashes. Attacks are flying from everywhere. He knows his luck is running out. Now here is where things get super intense, so pay attention. How do you even fight a boss glued to the roof? This is totally off script. Even worse, a monster that controls humans. If this ugly thing breaches the gate, the whole world is basically cooked. It has to die right now. Inside a tentacle, Irina floats, knocked out cold. Suddenly, her eyes snap open. She shreds the slime with a wild burst of slashes. Sungjin rushes over, totally relieved. He asks if she's good. She says she's okay, but running on fumes. They have to nuke this boss fast to save the squad. She rushes in to pull aggro. The boss spams attacks, but she dodges like a pro and drives her daggers deep. The hit connects, giving Sungjin his opening. He triggers Ares' divine power, Mars' punishment. Energy pools up, then straight up erupts, swallowing the boss in a massive pillar of pure flame. A few seconds later, his mana is totally empty. That was a super rare mythic class skill, so that boss should be toast. It's the ultimate move that made him guild leader. 0 bosses have survived it. But come on, obviously this one lived. Otherwise, our MC wouldn't get to save the day, and that giant freaky eye wouldn't still be glaring right at him. The dude is shook that the monster is still kicking. Eren screams at him to run. Instead, he just apologizes and totally freezes up. The boss charges up again. Sungjin goes full drama king, crying about being too weak to save his crew. The eye swells up to fire. Then boom, a whole motorcycle blasts right through it. Our MC smirks and announces delivery is here. Sungjin and Eren are absolutely speechless. Meanwhile, Hagen is raging because his 100 grand bike is already covered in gross slime. But hey, talk about an epic entrance. Through the smoke, the guild leaders just stare, totally clueless why some random biker just crashed their raid. Then someone steps up, roasting humans for giving the monster a lame name. Lucio, rocking full biker gear, declares herself the elite pilot. The hunters just stare at this weird little kid, totally lost. Lucio hits a dramatic pose, telling them not to freeze up in the presence of the great Lucio. Out of nowhere, the guy with a monster mouth creeps up behind her. Mega Racer Lucio looks finished, but Hagen dashes in and literally yanks the nasty creature out of his mouth, asking what is wrong with these people. The poor guy getting eaten passes out in Lucio's arms. Then Hagen catches a flash. He turns just in time to see the boss is still alive, even with a pierced eye. He instantly realizes this big ugly thing is the true dungeon boss. Perfect timing, honestly. He asks the room which one of them is Sungjin Park. From the back, Sungjin speaks up. Our boy struts over, circles him, and does a quick health check. He tells the guy he looks super familiar. Then it clicks. He saw him back in Tartarus. He never expected to bump into that hunter here. Super small world. Sungjin snaps at him to focus up and finish the boss. Hagen just shrugs. What does that have to do with him? Hunters fight monsters. He is literally just an Uber Eats driver for swords. 0 chance he's fighting. Plus, his suit is on cooldown anyway. Eren glares, calling him out for playing games with their lives. But you and I know what's up, right? Hagen tells her to chill. He's just saying Sungjin needs to end this boss himself. Sungjin thinks he's totally tripping. He has no weapons and 0 mana left. Then Hagen whips out his phone. Package secured. It is the literal weapon of Ares. A blinding light floods the cave. Sungjin and Eren shield their eyes, totally confused. Sungjin's jaw drops as a legendary greatsword spawns right in front of him. The mythic blade, Ender of Wars. Our delivery boy just turns around to bounce, saying his shift is over. Sungjin yells out, asking who sent this loot and how he bypasses gates without being a hunter. Hagen looks back, his arm glowing with pure divine energy. He smirks. Call him the divine delivery man. He hops on his ride, dropping a "see ya later." Sungjin is left standing there, wondering who that absolute madman even is. Right then the boss charges up another massive attack. Out of options, Sungjin grabs the hilt, his one last shot. The second he grips it, insane red energy explodes upward. A crazy new power surges through his veins, literally shifting his form. He fully awakens Ares' mythic state. Eren is completely stunned by his aura, while the boss preps its ultimate strike. But now, Sungjin is locked in. He squares up, admitting that for the first time he actually feels like winning. He pops Ares' divine power. The greatsword scales up and ignites in roaring flames. He swings heavy. The boss counters with its own beam, sparking a straight-up Dragon Ball-style clash. Unlike Goku, Sungjin is not the main character. Still, his slash overpowers the monster and completely vaporizes it. The blast rips a massive cross shape, lighting up the cavern. When the dust settles, Eren is floored. He didn't just slice the boss, he nuked the entire ceiling. This dude is cracked. At least Eren's power is finally cooling off. Otherwise, he'd be way too broken. Eren catches the passed-out guy, praising him, but she's super curious about that biker kid. Back in town, our boy is starving. Even the divine delivery man needs lunch. Meanwhile, the news is blowing up. The Hinam Bay gate is cleared. The media claims it is all thanks to Korea's top hunter, Sungjin. Lying in his hospital bed, Sungjin groans about the fake hype. He knows the hard truth. Without that delivery man, he was totally dead. He stares off, deep in thought. That dude is definitely not normal, casually dropping god-tier artifacts. Suddenly, someone sprints down the hall. Dorian busts in, screaming for the guild master, checking if he's alive. Seeing him chillin', he mutters that the boss barely has a scratch. Then he gets hyped, saying he heard the kid completely bodied the dungeon boss. Makes sense for the third strongest hunter. He asks about that red sword and where the old one went. Sungjin just deadpans that it snapped. Dorian's brain short-circuits. That blade cost 100 billion won. But Sungjin tells him to chill. The new drop is way better, courtesy of the divine delivery man. Dorian literally starts drooling over the loot. Sungjin tells his loot goblin friend he needs a solid favor. He wants Dorian to track down this delivery guy's address to recruit him. And trust me, that is exactly where we wrap up this wild ride. Over at the temple, the god Ares grins, knowing his legendary sword finally reached the right hands. Let's dive right into this crazy mess. The delivery guy says chill, the hunter survived. Ares is like, duh, the kid is famous for a reason. He invites him inside for a massive reward. But our boy, he ain't falling for this troublemaker's traps. Lucio whispers, hey, show some respect, this dude is literal Olympus royalty. Our boy suddenly remembers, oh right, prince status. Walking through the huge temple, he's totally sightseeing. Then Ares tells Lucio to wait. VIP access only. She gets zero explanation and our guy just waves peace out. Walking down the halls, our guy looks up, completely stunned. The door ahead, massive, 3 tons, Ares says. Our boy asks how to open this crazy anime door and Ares just flexes, basically saying muscle it. Boom, it opens. Inside, an insane mountain of shiny loot. All this stuff belongs to the war god himself, Ares. Naturally, our guy instantly asks for the price tag and if he can grab something. You'd expect Ares to be stingy, but nah, he says take your pick. Then he smirks, grabs a sketchy golden box. Our boy asks what's inside and Ares straight up says no clue, so why give it to him? Ares claims it's super rare, totally worth keeping. He doesn't know its exact deal but swears it isn't useless. A literal god called it his most precious treasure, right? Ares is hyped, absolutely convinced it's a god-tier reward, but our guy's face, totally deadpan, he calls it hot garbage, making Ares demand he open it. Inside, A tiny, flimsy wooden stick. Classic joke item, right? Suddenly, smash cut to the ocean where some sailors are screaming. They just ran into a whole pack of sirens. Yeah, major problem. Poor Jason is about to get hypnotized. Then we cut right back to our boy literally smacking Ares with the stupid stick. Absolute chaos. Next thing we know, our guy wakes up, completely exhausted. After scoring that useless stick from Ares, he crashed hard at home. He wakes up to Lucio mumbling about snacks in her sleep. He tries to wake the cursed kid, but realizes she's super tired too, gently tucking her in. Later, he grabs snacks at the corner store. He spots a poster. The hunter exam starts in 3 days. He never cared about being a hunter, but sneaking into dungeons is getting way too hard. Might be time to go legit. He gets home. Lucio demands candy and bam, a wild system notification pops up. It's a job from Hephaestus. He tells Lucio they'll eat later, hops on his sick new motorbike, and speeds to the blazing hot forge. The dwarf god is hyped he showed up so fast. People are already gossiping about how he saved Chiron and totally popped off. Now pay close attention here because things get weird. He acts super awkward about the rumors, claiming it was just dumb luck. He asks about the next delivery and Hephaestus points. A new guy walks up. Lucio's jaw drops, but our boy, totally clueless as usual. This dude is the king of fast sea shipping. Name is Jason from Argo Deliveries. Just like our boy, I had no clue who he was either. Turns out he's a legendary sailor from Greek myth. Whatever, you get the vibe. He smiles and calls himself the Great Adventurer. Basically, Jason runs the Argonauts, a whole squad of famous heroes. He thanks our guy for fixing his adoptive dad's leg. Then he gets down to business and our boy is all ears. Jason admits his company is stuck. Sirens blocked their trade route, completely shutting them down. Usually their music guy Orpheus handles the sirens, but he's on vacation, so they're completely helpless. That's why Jason tracked down the legendary courier. He actually wants our guy to fight the sirens. Our boy is just standing there like, bro, am I a mailman or a hitman? Why does everyone treat him like a monster hunter? Jason begs him not to reject it yet, dropping the magic words, 500,000 points. Our guy is instantly sold, but Hephaestus chimes in. Sirens live in the ocean, bro. How is a motorbike gonna help? Our boy was so hyped for the cash, he totally forgot about the water. But he says, chill, I got magic for that. Cut to them riding a ship to the Melodic Isles. Jason points ahead, and our guy promises to clean up. Jason promises a ride back. Then he literally jumps off the boat, revving his bike. Wait, a dirt bike on water. Yep. Hephaestus enchanted his hat with water magic, turning it into a jet ski. But Lucio is stressing out. He thinks sirens are cute mermaids, but their song is literal death. Even legendary heroes had to plug their ears to survive them. A small group could easily shred a giant kraken. Our guy just smirks. When monsters act up, just punch them. The sirens spot the incoming duo, whispering before diving deep, ready to ambush him. Our guy is just cruising on the waves. Suddenly, Lucio screams a warning. A massive monster blasts out of the water, jaws wide. But before it chomps, he absolutely decks it with Ares' wooden stick. A gift from Zeus has to be overpowered, right? Level 99 bonk. You saw that too, right? The siren didn't even flinch. She literally says it felt like getting hit with a pool noodle. That's the exact moment our boy realizes Ares totally scammed him. The stick is garbage. Now they're hiding behind a rock, using Lucio's stealth helmet. Lucio whispers the monsters swam away, so they're safe. But the siren nest is right in front of them. Jason said the trick is killing the queen to strip their power. Lucio thinks it's a suicide mission with that trash stick. He totally agrees, opening the cash shop. Money fixes everything, baby. He buys a literal bomb of Zeus's thunder. $1.5 million down the drain. Inside the creepy lair, the Siren Queen is chilling. One minion whines that they haven't eaten in 10 days, begging to hunt, but the queen says no. Their usual buzzkill Orpheus is gone. They are waiting to ambush a massive human ship. Our boy overhears everything, completely shook that she's casually planning a massacre. Lucio connects the dots instantly. That big ship, it's definitely Jason and his delivery crew. He asks Lucio if she remembers that spicy black ramen. She drools, calling it top tier. He promises the mega deluxe version if she helps out. She is instantly locked in. He whispers the crazy plan. She asks if he's sure since it's super risky. He just slaps the stealth helmet on her head, saying he trusts her completely. She flies off, promising to deliver. Since the helmet is gone, he's totally visible. He yells out, calling them ugly fish. The sirens are furious. He literally smacks his own butt, taunting them to bring it on. The queen is super pissed, ordering her squad to grab him. He sprints for his life. But without the helmet, his water-walking magic is fading fast. Right on cue, he yells for Lucio, holding the bomb. She activates the thunder orb. He yells peace out and the item completely nukes the temple. Boom! The chasing sirens get totally crushed under falling rocks. He only wanted the queen but accidentally wiped the whole squad. Oops! Lucio cheers, but our boy feels a sudden chill. Something is wrong. If the queen died, where's the notification? Suddenly, a monster bursts from the rubble, grabbing Lucio. The queen is furious, screaming about her dead daughters. Our guy yells, activating his suit's second stage. Trust me, you and I are gonna love this next fight. Stick with me because you and I are jumping right into the chaos. He backhands the queen, screaming at her to let Lucio go. She spins underwater. He is hyped about his new strength, but then she vanishes. Suddenly, she grabs his leg. Not good. She drags him deep, promising to pull him down until he drowns. Hagen panics. Is this game over? He just bought his apartment and has tons of points left. He refuses to die here. His massive club hits 100% overload. He smashes her head, leaving her completely stunned, then unleashes a brutal, lightning-fast combo straight to her face. The beatdown literally lights up the ocean. Lucio is completely stunned. He is still standing. Gripping his giant club, he declares justice served. The sirens are finished. Later, at a Chinese restaurant, Lucio happily stuffs her face. She loves the fancy food. Smiling, he says whatever she wants from now on, just ask. He is footing the bill. Things got super sketchy, but thanks to Lucio, they survived the sirens. He still flexes about hitting the queen, though. He tells her to eat up, she earned it. After all, he is sitting on 633,000 points now. That is basically $6 million. Even dropping 150,000 on Zeus power, he is making serious bank. Monster hunting sounds fun now, which reminds him about the hunter exam. Lucio asks what that is. Joking, he says it is the fried pork. She tries it and loves it, so he happily hands over the entire plate. Too lazy to dip, she just dumps all the sauce over the food. He instantly bonks her head for zero manners. Later, they drag themselves home, completely exhausted. He has been grinding non-stop and dreams of a vacation. But suddenly, the doorbell rings. A random voice calls out, asking if he is home. Groaning, he drags himself over. A sketchy dude in a mask, glasses, and beanie asks for Hajun Lee. Our guy assumes it is a creep and slams the door, shouting no soliciting. The stranger keeps yelling. Hagen gets annoyed. What salesman knows your full name? Lucio asks who is there. Just a super pushy salesman, he replies. Outside, the guy pounds the door, yelling that he knows Hagen is the divine courier. Oh snap! MC opens up and sees Seonjin holding a massive sword. Why is he here? Simple. Seonjin wants to recruit him into his major guild. Later at a cafe, Seonjin hands over a reward for his past help. Hagen checks it, boom, 500,000. Easiest money ever. Acting smug, he says this is too generous. Seonjin laughs it off and drops the real pitch. Join the guild, get a 200,000 signing bonus, plus 300,000 a year. Plus extra bonuses based on performance. Any normal hunter would instantly accept this insane bag. But back at the hospital, Doyun had warned Seonjin that Hagen is not even licensed. Still, the guy made deliveries in Tartarus, crushed the 8 trigrams, and somehow survived a whole other dungeon by himself. Licensed or not, he is a goldmine. Seonjin is hyped. But here is the part you need to watch carefully. Our boy apologizes and declines. Seonjin is stunned. Hagen repeats himself again. He is absolutely not taking that massive guild deal. Outside, Seonjin desperately offers to negotiate. Hagen refuses all guilds. Seonjin is totally baffled. What is better than millions of dollars? Hagen flashes his phone. Simple, deliveries. He clicks accept. A bright light blinds Seonjin and poof, MC vanishes. Suddenly, they are high in the mountains. Lucio reminds him he was supposed to be resting. Sweating bullets, he agrees. He just did not expect this customer to be chilling on a mountain peak. Usually, requests teleport him straight to the client. This time, dropped at the bottom, he has to hike. He angrily blames Seonjin for wasting his energy with that dumb guild pitch he never even wanted. He relies on cool suit tech, not raw powers. Plus, deliveries pay way better anyway. After a brutal climb, they finally reach the top, totally gassed. Suddenly, his expression drops. Right in front of them are massive, disgusting black slimes covered in creepy eyes. He asks what the heck these things are, but Lucio has zero clue. He steps on one and freezes. It feels exactly like that horrific dungeon monster. He asks if this is some mythic creature. She draws a blank. Just as she starts guessing, the earth violently shakes. A massive beast rises behind him. Game over, man. Then boom, a golden figure blurs past, throwing one punch that obliterates the monster. The scarred man complains he is getting too old for this. He sighs over his aging body, speaks into his radio, and says he has heard a lot about our MC. Our boy is absolutely floored. Is this legendary guy the client? He asks Lucio who this is. Does she knows? It is the hero of the 12 labors, the man who helped the gods crush the giants, Hercules. The beefcake blushes, saying those old stories make him shy. Then MC realizes, wait, isn't this the dude who shot Chiron? Hercules asks if MC is the one who healed Chiron. Awkwardly, he admits the Hydra did the real work. Hercules slaps his back so hard the suit almost shatters, loudly thanking him anyway. He confirms Lucio is right. He is the demigod protecting Olympus. Skipping the long, epic intros, MC and Lucio just drop their names. Hercules admits he called them for backup. Now, you and I both know things are about to escalate. He points at a dark cave. During the giant war, it became a monster portal into Olympus. Lately, weird tentacle freaks are pouring out. Hercules has never seen them, meaning they are likely from another world. MC realizes this connects to the dungeon beast. Hercules says the quest is simple, track the monster's origin. Suddenly, a 24-hour system mission pops up. Penalty for failing or canceling. 200,000 coins. Absolute madness. He wants to refuse, but one glance at Hercules' massive biceps, and he nervously agrees to handle it fast. Hercules laughs, saying MC is exactly how his wife Abby described. Wait, Abby, the girl from his very first delivery. He realizes how insanely connected all these myths are. The system boots up a guide map, but it is glitching out. He stares down a sheer cliff drop. How is he supposed to go down there? Hercules grabs him, promising a fast shortcut. Before MC can even scream, he is launched off the mountain. Meanwhile, back at the guild, Doyun bursts into the leader's office. Sangjin scolds him, but Doyun desperately asks about the courier recruit. Sangjin sighs. It was a massive fail. The kid completely shut them down. Doyun is baffled. That kind of cash is life-changing. Sangjin explains the guy literally teleported away. Doyun calls Cap, but Sangjin is dead serious. Hagen vanished just like he appeared in the dungeon. Plus, they actually got a direct message from the god Ares confirming the delivery item was real. Sangjin vows to try recruiting the kid again later. Right now, he is casually gaming. Doyeon notices his shiny new sword. After getting the weapon from Ares, Sangjin sold his old one for a ridiculous fortune. He wanted to use that cash to lure MC in, but that totally flopped. Doyeon drops some news: a high roller in Japan wants to buy it. Sangjin preps the shipment but warns that high-tier items are getting hijacked by thieves in transit lately. That sword is way too valuable to lose. He thinks about hiring elite security, then realizes the kid is literally a magical courier. Smiling, Sangjin cooks up a genius plan. Back in the ravine, MC is screaming. Why did Hercules have to launch him like a baseball? The system chimes destination approaching. Terrified of breaking every bone, he summons his motorcycle midair. Riding his bike, he dive bombs straight down and crashes incredibly hard. Smoke clears. The bike's insane shock absorbers actually saved his life. Hercules seriously almost murdered them. He shakes an unconscious Lucio awake, hyping that they survived. But now, he has zero clue what he is even supposed to find. He complains about looking for some unnamed mystery object in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, a giant foot slams down. The ground violently shakes. Lucio clings to him in terror. It feels exactly like that crazy dungeon monster. A deep voice growls Hercules' name. So what do you and I make of this final twist? MC turns around, spotting a massive titan carrying something huge on his back. Oh man, that is Atlas. Stick with me here, you and I are about to watch absolute madness. This giant literally towers over him. Crushed under the pressure, our boy explains Hercules sent him to investigate. Hearing about the monsters, Atlas just cracks up. Holding his glowing sphere, he laughs, saying Hercules must be totally desperate to send a scrub like him. But our guy wants answers. Why is a giant hiding here with a massive ball? He straight up asks if Atlas knows anything. Atlas shuts him down hard. He owes Hercules zero favors. Our boy whispers to Lucio, asking why the big guy is so salty. She's mind blown that he doesn't know. Bro, this is Atlas, the titan carrying the celestial sphere after losing the Great War. Who gave him that punishment? Zeus, Hercules' dad. Talk about crazy family beef. Our boy realizes Hercules should have warned him about this drama. Atlas snaps, asking if they're done whispering. The kid completely freezes. The giant heard every single word. Atlas growls that the nymph is right. The monster's up on Earth, not his problem. Now Hajun is stuck in another god-tier mess when he just wanted to make deliveries. For some wild reason, he tries acting cute. Like, can you really say no to this adorable face? Atlas threatens to flatten him into a pancake, but our boy smirks. He won't ask for free. If Atlas spills the truth, he'll owe him a huge favor. The Titan's face shifts. Lucio starts panicking, screaming he's being way too reckless. Atlas just laughs. A puny human doing a favor for a god, totally absurd, but our boy just grins, try me. The Titan actually considers it. The kid's got guts. The price? 1 golden apple. Survive bringing back an apple and he'll reveal the slime's master plan. Lucio instantly flips out. It's totally impossible. She begs him to decline. Golden apples are stupidly rare, only growing on Gaia's trees. Gods literally use them as ultra-expensive wedding gifts. But before she can keep ranting, he just slaps a hand over her mouth. He looks right at Atlas. Is that seriously all you want? Then it clicks. Atlas isn't a god, he's a titan. Atlas confirms it, giving his word. But our boy goes hard. He tells him to swear by the river Styx. In myths, breaking a Styx oath drains your power. Impressed by the disrespect, Atlas smirks and holds out his giant pinky. The Titan actually swears by the river. Our boy whips out his phone. No take-backs. See, a golden apple only costs 1,000 points in his shop app. Atlas just got completely played. He clicks buy, the apple pops out and he holds it up. Order delivery complete. Atlas just stares, totally dumbfounded. Is this kid for real? Meanwhile, outside, purple slimes are swarming. Hercules keeps smashing them, wondering what's taking those two so long. Then he realizes he totally forgot to warn them about Atlas. Now watch closely, because here's where it gets wild. A blue flash suddenly lights up the distance. Someone is coming in hot. It's our boy, tearing through the sky on his motorcycle while his suit fuses right into it. Hercules is about to praise his speed, until the front wheel smacks the god directly in the face. Yep, he just ran over a deity. He acts awkward, but honestly, definitely payback for getting tossed earlier. A minute later, he's face down on the dirt, swearing it was an accident. Hercules brushes it off. A kid can't hurt a god, but our boy points at his bruised face. The damage says otherwise. Looking beat up, Hercules claims he's perfectly fine. Crossing his arms, Hercules scoffs. Coming back this fast means he learned nothing. The trip was a total bust. Hercules knows Atlas is still raging over him stealing those golden apples back in the day. Pretty messed up to rob a guy whose hands are literally full. So Hercules sighs. Since Hajun tried, he'll let it slide. That is, until our boy casually drops a bomb. Atlas actually told him everything. Hercules calls Cap. No way. But then the kid reaches back and whips out a shiny golden apple. Bribed him with this. We flash back to the cave right when Hajun flexed the fruit. Atlas was absolutely shook, demanding to know how a mortal scored one. Our boy just shrugs. Easy bro, one click in the digital shop. Atlas demands he hand it over, but Hajun hits him with a hard nope. He refuses to get scammed. The Titan spills the tea first. Atlas starts raging about the deal, but our boy raises the apple, ready to take a massive bite. Back in the present, Hajun smirks. That's how the Titan talked. Hercules is stunned. This kid is absolutely built different. The crazy part? That shameless, cocky attitude reminds Hercules way too much of his younger days. He groans, telling the kid to drop the intel. Our boy admits Atlas spoke in weird riddles, so he barely understood it. Then he recites the prophecy. The earth splits into 7 pieces and blue flames will ignite everywhere. Hercules instantly starts sweating. This is way worse than he thought. Just as he feared, these monsters leaked in from another world, hitting the exact spot he dreaded most. Then it clicks. Hajun is one of the rare humans who can jump between worlds, and somehow fate slapped an ordinary nymph right by his side. To Hercules, the goddesses of fate are just flat-out cruel. Why dump such an insane burden on some human kid? Honestly, you and I are probably wondering the exact same thing right now. Suddenly, our boy holds his hand out. Hercules looks confused. Hajun just sighs. Bro, the delivery is done. Time to cough up my paycheck. Later, Hercules is chilling on a pile of dead monsters when someone pops up. It's Hermes. He asks what Hercules thinks of the kid now. Waving casually, Hermes admits he barely missed them. Hercules speaks with deep respect, but the messenger god tells him to chill out. Still, the big guy refuses to act casual around a legend. Hermes literally carried him through the 12 labors. But Hermes sighs. He didn't come to hang out. He tells Hercules to stop ghosting Ares. The big guy just shrugs. Ares is toxic, always picking fights and talking trash, so he blocked him in real life. Hermes cracks up. Hercules sucks at making friends. Then he asks if the Atlas beef is still active. Hercules instantly fires back. Zero chance he's apologizing to that jerk. Hermes shifts gears, asking if the spot Atlas described to the kid is what they're both thinking. Hercules repeats the riddle about splitting land and blue flames. It matches the prophecy perfectly. Raising his glowing staff, Hermes says it's go time. They need to start prepping for war right now. Hermes offers to warn everyone, but Hercules says don't sweat it. The kid is the one tied to all this fate stuff anyway. Hermes just grins. Relax, delivering messages is literally his job. He blasts off, telling Hercules to say hi to the old man. Alone again, Hercules powers up, glaring at the monster horde. Time to finish taking out the trash. Back with Hajun, Lucio is knocked out cold. Our boy ruthlessly yanks her blanket away. She sits up completely dazed, begging for 5 more minutes. He tells her to get up. Groggy, she asks where they're rushing to. Dude, it's Hunter exam day. Still totally lost, she remembers him mentioning it but has zero clue what a Hunter exam actually is. He calls her an idiot for tagging along blindly. She just pouts. Staying home is boring. Meanwhile, our guy is locked in. Registration, supplies, and his trusty wooden bat. Packed. Lucio stumbles out with absolute bedhead, claiming she's ready. Slapping on a cap, he tells her to hustle. At the association, flashy hunters are everywhere, making our boy look like a total NPC. But under that hoodie, he's strapped. The announcer grabs the mic, kicking off the exams. Candidate 1 steps up, gripping a massive axe to face 3 ugly goblins. The goblins rush and the guy slices one cleanly in half. Our boy watches, thinking 3 weak goblins is absolute child's play. He realizes the test is about how you kill them. Then number 38 is called. His turn. Stepping into the octagon, he plans to pass quietly without flexing too hard. But the second his suit boots up, a red-haired recruiter zeroes in on him. Wait, that's the psycho chick from the enemy guild. The camera pans to some other dude literally crushing goblins with his bare hands while the crowd goes wild. A guy eating chips shakes his head. Brute strength isn't enough to be a real hunter. The blonde agrees, waiting for a true star. The redhead snaps, telling them to shut up. These rookies belong in the trash. It's Johan, the exact same menace who caused absolute chaos with the Black Dragon Guild. So what do you and I make of this wild twist? She slaughtered hunters, but now she's playing judge. Staring at that dragon tattoo, she wonders how her top-tier guild fell off so hard. We'll find out next time. Look, you and I both know the 8 trigram scandal totally tanked this guild's rep. Now she's desperately hunting for one decent recruit. Candidate 38 gets called up. Lucio cheers her lungs out while our guy just stands there. He wants to pass, but strictly under the radar. Goblins swarm him while he plays dumb, but his suit's danger sense kicks in. He dodges effortlessly. These things are way slower than those sirens he fought. Watching from afar, the redhead locks in. Number 38 moves in a fascinating way, she says. Plus, he feels weirdly familiar. He still hasn't even attacked, just smoothly sidestepping. Finally, he throws a single, low-key punch to quietly finish this. But bam! The goblin turns to absolute dust instantly. The redhead's eyes go wide. She knows right away. This is exactly the guy she's looking for. Cut to him getting his official badge. Turns out he casually dropped the 3rd highest score in history. They guarantee he'll be a top-tier hunter. Hajun just thinks this whole hunter gig is way too easy. Lucio sprints over, hyping up his fight, then demands food. Pork is officially on the menu. Suddenly, someone blocks their path. With striking red hair and eyes, Juhan from the Black Dragon Guild politely introduces herself. Oh, he knows she is straight-up bad news. She praises his flawless exam and pitches a recruitment offer. But before she even finishes, he breezes right past her. Hard pass. Totally stunned, she tells him to hold up. He politely says thanks, but he is flying solo. She refuses to back down. This guy could save her guild. She desperately drops a massive $5 million offer plus bonuses. Hajun just freezes. Hook, line, and sinker. Or so she thinks. He repeats the number. She smirks, thinking she won the lottery. Instead, he looks at her like she's a total joke. Is Black Dragon really that broke? Lucio chimes in, calling them cheapskates. She chases him, screaming he won't find a better deal. He calmly hits back. He already did. Yeah, Sangjin's guild offered him a cool 20 billion won. She literally freezes solid. He leaves her completely devastated. Later, at the restaurant, the TV is already hyping up a promising new rookie hunter. Hajun's jaw drops. It's been barely an hour and he is already on the news. He tells Lucio to order, but before he can even blink, the food hits the table. Surprise! It is Sangjun grinning about the fast service. Hajun lets out a massive sigh. Is this dude stalking him now? Sangjun waves it off. Just a crazy random coincidence, obviously. Our MC immediately shuts it down. If this is a guild invite, the answer is 0. Sangjun brings up the crazy exam score, but Hajun stops him cold. He wants a peaceful, low-key life, not flashy hunter drama. Sangjun chuckles. Relax, this isn't recruitment. He wants to hire the legendary divine courier. Now pay close attention here, things are about to escalate. Sangjun needs an item delivered to Japan in 2 days, but dangerous thieves are hijacking shipments. Hajun admits deliveries are his actual specialty. He glares at him. The cash better be worth it. Sangjun just smiles. Oh, you'll be satisfied. Hearing the number 2, Hajun figures it's 200 million. Nope, 2 billion. Hajun instantly slams his face on the table. Consider it done, totally flawless delivery. While Lucio stuffs her face, Sangjun says he fully trusts him. Cut to a shady apartment where a girl demands the order. She's talking to Hermes. Yeah, this is getting super sketchy. Next, we are on a massive cargo ship. Lucio is completely mind-blown. Hajun explains the mega-rich Young One Guild owns the whole thing. It feels way more like guarding a vault than making a delivery. Suddenly, 2 beefy guards demand his ID. He just casually flashes his black VIP card. The guard instantly panics and waves them right through. Heading deeper inside, Lucio admits it is huge, but totally smaller than the Argonaut's ship. Hajun cracks up at her Olympus pride. Finally, they reach a heavily sealed, ultra-secure cargo container. The sword has to be inside that thing. Once the massive doors slide open, the insane security makes total sense. This sword is locked behind heavy iron bars, thick chains, and laser grids. Seriously, who in their right mind would even try to rob a vault this intense? Lucio gasps. He asks if she actually recognizes it. Duh, it's the legendary blade Durandal. Before she can start flexing her mythology knowledge, Hajun cuts her off. Yeah, we get it, you're a super special nymph. Lucio asks what the plan is. Simple, sit tight and babysit this sword. It is incredibly boring, but hey, 2 billion won is on the line. If they lose this sword, they'll owe way more than that. A loud horn blasts. The ship is moving. But wait, a weird gas starts leaking into the container while the outside guards stay completely chill. We all knew a trap was coming, right? The gas hits and the guards drop like flies. Easy pickings. Suddenly, a wild-looking woman in a skin-tight suit drops in. Phase 1 complete. Inside the vault, our boy is already snoozing. Then a sharp flick smacks right into his forehead. Lucio shakes him awake. He jumps up, totally stunned that he actually blacked out. He covers his face, realizing it is heavy sleeping gas. He frantically checks the pedestal. Thank God, the sword is safe. But wait, his high-tech suit should have easily filtered out a basic toxin like this. This thief must be packing some crazy special powers. He kicks the door open and sees her just standing there, praying for the gods to make her an honest thief tonight. What a weirdo. He instantly opens his system shop to buy a counter item, but the thief makes her move. A blinding green flash rips through the air. Suddenly, a magical rope wraps her arm, tangling her up like a spider web. She realizes this is no normal gear. Hajun chuckles. Caught a little thief. He just bought Raken's rope, an epic item that aggressively binds its target upon impact. Now she's literally crying on the floor. Her god gave her that gas, so how did he wake up? He just bonks her head. Shut up, annoying thief. She screams she isn't a crook and begs to explain her mission. Hajun just smirks. Dude, I'm not an idiot. You're stealing. Fine, she admits she's stealing, but only for the greater good. Hajun bursts out laughing. She compares herself to Robin Hood, the ultimate honest thief, taking from the greedy to help the needy. Honestly, both Hajun and Lucio look at her like she's completely out of her mind. He tells her she seriously needs therapy. Lucio totally agrees, old people are super weird. The girl screams that he has to listen. Hermes sent her to grab the sword for its real owner to stop an incoming disaster. Hajun is shook. Lucio whispers maybe she really is an emissary. Hajun is definitely thrown off, though she looks way too goofy to be a holy messenger. He demands details about these incoming threats. Out of nowhere, she spits a glowing orb from her mouth. She didn't want to use this, but he leaves her no choice. Prepare for payback. Boom, thick purple smoke bombs the deck and she totally vanishes. We see her swimming away, raging that those astral form pills cost an absolute fortune. She swears she will get her revenge on that tight suit-wearing jerk. Lady, your outfit is way tighter. By the way, her name is Cyan Choi. Dragging herself onto the dock, she mutters about how close that was. Plus, she wasted her best elixir. She's still fuming, swearing to wipe that smug smile right off his face. Suddenly, her system pings. Mission successful. She thanks Hermes, confirming she actually snatched the item he really wanted. So what did you and I just witness? She successfully swiped the legendary ring of dissipation. Hermes asks what went wrong. She explains the knockout gas failed on one guy. The god is stunned. Impossible. Who was it? Just some guy in a tight suit with a crazy mythical rope. Stick with me here because things get wild fast. Hermes immediately asks if a kid was with him. She confirms seeing a little girl with sky blue hair, completely shocked the god guessed it. So our guy is absolutely a big deal. Ares cracks up at the crazy coincidence. He tells her to chill, that dude is the chosen one. Relieved, she is just glad they are allies. Then she pauses, making up her mind. Next time they meet, she is definitely teaching him some respect for his seniors. Meanwhile, Hajun secures his 2 billion won bag. Just as the guild predicted, one weirdo totally derailed the entire mission. But Durandal reached Japan safely, meaning Hajun's epic job is completely done. With his apartment finally paid off, he heads straight to visit Hephaestus. It has been a minute since they hung out, and he desperately needs to know what to do with his new Hydra scale. At the workshop, Hajun knocks. No lights. No blacksmith. Lucio whines that they should just ditch and grab food instead, but right then, a mysterious voice calls Hajun's name out of nowhere. He whips around and practically jumps out of his skin. It is Hephaestus, and one look screams that an insanely dangerous VIP is visiting. The blacksmith points to a breathtaking woman, calling her the divine courier. She flashes a smile. Then, boom, he drops the name. It is Freya, the legendary Valkyrie leader who literally taught magic to Odin. But our boy totally misreads the room, assuming his buddy is cheating. He literally grabs Hephaestus by the collar, yelling, "Bro, do you think you are Zeus now?" Hermes panics, explaining she is just a client. Freya bursts out laughing, teasing that Hajun must be pretty bold to think they were having an affair. The dwarf totally ignores the drama while our guy ends up face-planting an apology. Awkward. Anyway, back to business. He needs Hajun to deliver a letter straight to the ruler of Helheim and investigate the sketchy stuff happening in Valhalla. 120 hours. 500,000 points. Hajun looks completely clueless, but Lucio, she is absolutely trembling. She frantically explains that is the Norse land of the dead. Translation: an absolutely suicidal mission. Now that he is filthy rich, Hajun has zero desire to risk his neck. Why die when his bank account is stacked? He could retire today and live the dream with Lucio. Hephaestus sighs, agreeing Helheim is probably too extreme, but before he even finishes that sentence, Hajun interrupts. Plot twist, he is totally taking the job. No way is this dude turning down massive cash. He flexes, promising to handle it like a boss. Lucio instantly kicks his back for being so money-hungry. Cut to them zooming through eerie mountains near a green lake. Hajun rips the throttle, but the vibes completely off, which makes total sense. Because they are literally in the afterlife. Lucio roasts him, saying he only took the gig because he is totally ignorant about how savage Norse mythology gets. He shoots back that she used to be way quieter and should probably mute herself again. She snaps. Every crazy delivery with him shaves a year off her lifespan. Fun fact, in Norse myth, Valhalla is exclusively for badass fallen warriors. Meanwhile, Helheim is dumped for regular folks and cowards. Honestly, no wonder everyone wants to throw hands. It is either fighting for paradise or rotting in a nightmare. He recalls Freya getting regular updates from Helheim, meaning it cannot be that bad, right? He tells Lucio to chill out, but knowing his luck, that logic only makes everything feel way more suspicious. Now pay close attention because everything goes sideways. With 10 minutes left, he crosses a sketchy, narrow bridge. Suddenly, his chest tightens. The air drops to absolute zero, freezing them solid. Lucio panics she cannot move. He is paralyzed too. Then a creepy voice echoes out. A living soul crossing Helheim. Yep, they just walked into another overpowered woman. The giant stares them down, noticing something totally off. The nymph lacks the scent of death, but the boy, she claims he already died once. He completely freezes, demanding she repeat that. Boom, tragic flashback time. He is riding his bike in a brutal storm, knowing this weather is a death trap. But his ruthless landlord is spamming eviction threats over unpaid rent. With zero options, he keeps hustling. Out of nowhere, a car violently cuts him off. He swerves onto the sidewalk, surviving by pure luck. He is about to rage when the worst realization hits. All his delivery packages are ruined on the asphalt. Now he is absolutely screwed with damage fees. While checking his phone, a massive horn blares. Blinded by the heavy rain, a truck driver misses him entirely. Bam! Just like that, Hajun Lee dies at 27. And painfully, his funeral used a drooling photo. Snapping back to reality, he mutters this giant is trying to give him a heart attack. She insists he literally reeks of rotting flesh. So pretending he never died. Pure nonsense to her. Lucio chimes in, guessing the gross smell rubbed off when he visited Tartarus. It is simple logic. Water nymphs smell fresh, sea nymphs smell fishy. Tartarus and Helheim are different mythologies, sure, but they are both literally underworlds. Our guy awkwardly sniffs his own arm, smelling absolutely nothing. But then it clicks. The Hydra once mentioned he smelled like lingering spirits. The giant nods, that checks out. Rumors say a crazy mortal actually met Hades in Tartarus. If that is him, he should recognize the guard of this passage. Plot twist. He has zero clue. He is still freaking out about his death flashback. But Lucio, she knows exactly who this boss is. There is only one legendary bridgekeeper known as the Warrior of Wrath. Lucio calls it, she is Managarmer. Impressed, Managarmer asks what their business is. Lucio bluntly drops the bomb. Freya sent them to deliver a letter to Hell. Hearing Freya's name is an instant game changer. For Freya, the gates are officially open. You and I both know Hajun is not waiting. He hits the gas before she changes her mind. Watching them go, Managarmer finds it super weird Freya sent a mortal on such a brutal journey. Speeding toward Helheim, the temperature suddenly flatlines into absolute zero. And then, Lucio sneezes right on him. He shoots her a massive death glare, insanely salty that Freya never said to pack winter gear. Suddenly, Lucio remembers a fun fact. Helheim is freezing because dead people do not feel cold. He screams, asking why she kept that a secret. She just shrugs. Does he remember everything from high school? No. Then she orders him to stop whining and hit the system shop. Grumbling like crazy, he opens the interface. Boom, a baby wolf fur coat. But it costs a massive 200,000 points. He is raging because his motorcycle only cost 100,000. Still, with zero options, he takes the hit. 200,000 points gone. At least he still has 600,000. Wrapping up, he copes by reminding himself he will earn 500,000 back upon completion. Then he turns and sees Lucio snuggled up in the warmth too, grinning. He did not expect it to cover her, but realizes it must be an area of effect buff. Hyped and fully defrosted, he completely floors the gas, ready to speedrun this entire delivery mission right now. But reality hits hard. They are completely trapped in an escalating blizzard. The magical coat works, but his bike is freezing up. Even worse, his GPS totally glitches out. Forced to hide behind a massive boulder, Lucio points out they would be buried alive otherwise. He acts tough, telling her to stop being dramatic. He is totally just checking for a cell signal. This dude is way too obsessed with his job. With 41 hours left, the map confirms they will barely make it, and that is assuming 0 delays. Suddenly, Lucio asks if he is dumb enough to fall asleep in the snow. But wait, she is pointing at something wild. Stepping out, he feels massive, earthquake-level footsteps rumbling straight toward them. He fully braces for a boss monster. Instead, a jacked dude in a literal Speedo sprints at them. The madman screams to run because a savage wolf pack is right behind him. Hagen is absolutely fuming. This clown brought aggro straight to them. The chase begins as MC revs his bike. He tries shouting a question, but Speedo guy cuts him off, gasping that he cannot chat while fighting for air. What blows Hagen's mind? This absolute unit is matching the turbo bike on foot. Both Hagen and Lucio scream, asking why he led the monsters here. The guy casually replies he just wanted to say hi since he has only seen snow and wolves forever. That excuse is absolutely worthless. Lucio screams at him to turn around and be wolf snacks by himself. Suddenly, Hagen spots a random cabin through the whiteout, the ultimate safe zone. He violently crashes through the gate, biking straight inside. The weirdo begs them to wait, but seeing those massive jaws closing in, Hagen hesitates hard. If he opens the door, they all become dog food. So bam, he slams it right in the dude's face. Savage, right? Hagen literally justifies it as giving the guy some hardcore survival training, but the Speedo maniac roars that he refuses to die today. In one insane flex, this lunatic leaps the entire 30-meter wall. Lucio's jaw hits the floor. He superhero lands in front of MC, smirking that no barrier can stop a real man. That epic flex actually impresses him. The guy tries introducing himself, but MC cuts him off. He ignores it, proudly declaring he is Sigurd, descendant of Odin. So what do you and I make of this? Trust me, the absolute chaos is just beginning. Let's dive in, guys. Hadrian just plays it cool, but Lucio, she totally fangirls out. She instantly recognizes this dude as the legendary hero Lufnir. If this shirtless guy actually took down a massive dragon, his power level must be absolutely off the charts. Lucio hypes him up as the literal dragon slayer. The dude acts super humble, saying the rumors are totally overblown, but Hadrian sees right through it. Bro loves the clout. Sigurd suggests moving into the cabin to dodge the freezing cold. Hadrian hesitates, not knowing whose place it is, but honestly, freezing or getting eaten by wolves is way dumber. Fair point. Checking the map, Hadrian realizes they made huge progress. A quick rest break sounds amazing right now. Cozying up by the fire, Sigurd asks what their deal is and why they're out here. Hadrian casually drops that he's just delivering a package way across the map. Sigurd looks super confused. A delivery guy in Helheim. That's a first. Hadrian claps back, asking why the mighty dragon slayer didn't just obliterate those wolves earlier. Lucio totally agrees, but Sigurd drops a reality check. They are literally in Helheim. Meanwhile, Hadrian is just thinking this underworld castle looks surprisingly normal. Suddenly, Sigurd freezes as a maid named Ganglert spawns out of nowhere. Before they even say a word, she lists their whole objective, bringing Freya's letter and needing an escort to Hel. She tells them it's handled. Walking down the massive halls, Hadrian whispers, asking Lucio if this maid is some legendary goddess. Nope, neither. Lucio says she's just been serving Hel forever. Lucio tries hyping Ganglert up for her loyalty and asks for tips, but gets flat-out ignored, which kinda ticks her off. Hilariously, Ganglert is just internally screaming over how cute Lucio is. Finally, they hit this massive door. The boss room is right inside. Sigurd dips out here, reminding Hagen to deliver that letter. The giant doors creak open and our boy is sweating. The aura in this room is heavy, way scarier than any god he's faced before. This is the underworld's boss. After Ganglert introduces them, Hel just giggles, noticing his weird vibe right away. Not dead, but not fully alive either. She guesses he's the troublemaker shaking up her realm. Hagen instantly defends himself, saying he's literally just the mailman. Boom! The letter vanishes from his grip and lands straight into the hands of a tiny little girl. He expected some massive, terrifying demon king, not a literal child. She demands to know if the letter's contents are legit, but Hagen shrugs. Hey, he just drops the package, he doesn't read it. He casually asks why she cares so much, making Lucio panic about his disrespect. But Hel just leans back, amused by his guts. Since most people are terrified of her, she actually decides to spill the tea. Valhalla is under attack by fake Helheim forces. Someone is trying to frame her. Now pay attention here, because this is where the lore gets crazy. She reveals only one mythic race can literally fight destiny itself. She drops that cryptic riddle about the 7 lands and rising blue flames again. She totally knows who's pulling the strings. Hagen is still low-key disappointed the underworld boss is basically a toddler, but now Ganglert's obsessed loyalty makes total sense. Later, lounging on her throne, Hel asks if they're gone. Ganglert confirms she ported them straight back to Olympus. Hel just chuckles, thinking Freya has a twisted sense of humor sending a mortal down to the literal realm of the dead. But Ganglert sets the record straight. This guy is the divine courier, famous among gods for doing crazy quests just for points. Hel nods, finally understanding his whole vibe. Plus, thanks to his delivery, she just proved those mythic enemies are real. Suddenly, she orders her maid to pack their bags, completely confusing poor Ganglert. Hel declares she's handling this personally. Cut back to Hephaestus, who is absolutely shook, asking if Hagen heard that right. Hagen swears he did, and Lucio backs him up completely. Freya looks stressed, bringing up that spooky 7 lands prophecy again. She honestly never thought it would actually happen in real life. Hagen is scratching his head. Why is everyone freaking out over this? Even Hercules lost his mind when he heard about it. Freya suddenly bails on Hephaestus, saying her item can wait because this is way too urgent. She clearly wishes she never heard this news, but now she has to go warn everybody else. She's stressing over how things got this terrible under the radar. Someone big must be pulling the strings from the shadows, Ragnarok style. But wait, Hagen suddenly grabs her shoulder. With a deadpan stare, he asks if she forgot something. Lucio is absolutely hyperventilating, calling him crazy for grabbing a literal goddess. Bro refuses to let her bounce without paying his fee. Freya drops her smile instantly. She glares, calling him out for touching her. The room's pressure skyrockets, making Hagen literally shake in his boots. But does he back down? Nope. He starts doing a goofy little dance, chanting for his cash. Yeah, our boy is totally unhinged. Lucio chimes in, joking that this exact pose boosts your chances of getting paid by 99%. Freya just stares, then heavily sighs. She actually did forget. She drops 500,000 points plus a sweet 250,000 bonus. Boom, he just hit the 1 million point milestone. You and I both know he's basically a millionaire now. But instantly, Lucio delivers a sick double dropkick to his back, yelling at him for being a total greed monster. Freya just laughs at their chaotic energy, apologizing for losing her temper. Meanwhile, Hephaestus sighs, wondering if Hagen is actually stupid or just completely clueless. The dwarf brushes it off. Guess real men need guts anyway. Hagen then asks about that 7 lands prophecy since it literally terrifies everyone, even Hercules. Wait, Hephaestus is shocked. Hagen talked to Hercules. After getting the full story, the blacksmith yells that he should have brought this up way sooner. Hagen just shrugs. Hey, nobody asked. Plus, he doesn't even know where this secret place is anyway. Hephaestus strokes his beard, realizing this is exactly why the big Olympian Council was called. This massive meeting hasn't happened in 389 years. Now the dwarf totally gets why he got that sudden VIP summon. Hagen tries digging for more lore, but Hephaestus shuts him down hard. Just knowing this much puts a massive target on his back. Our boy is super annoyed, wondering why everyone is gatekeeping the truth. The dwarf stays firm. This is strictly God-level business. If fate wants him involved, he'll find out, but for now, stop snooping if he wants to live. Honestly, the less our MC knows, the better. Fast forward a bit, they are back in the city. Lucio is whining, begging him to unlock the door so she can crash. He punches in the code and boom, home sweet home. That pricey apartment is officially theirs. With the old furniture totally cleared out, it finally feels like his own crib. Lucio instantly calls dibs on a room, but Hagen brutally claims the master bedroom for himself. She demands a rock, paper, scissors match to settle it. Instead, he just grabs her arm, says nope, and drags her outside to go furniture shopping. Suddenly, a knock at the door. He freezes. They literally just moved in, so who on earth has this address? He cracks the door open and whoa, it's Aaron holding a massive cake. Lucio instantly recognizes her from the dungeon runs. Then it hits Hagen. She was moving in next door. It all makes sense now. Aaron holds up the giant rice cake, saying it's a welcome gift for the courier. He grabs it but immediately shoots down her party idea, bluntly saying they just got back and are way too tired. Ouch. The poor girl looks absolutely devastated by the rejection. Meanwhile, a starving Lucio asks if they have to finish the whole thing. Before he can even speak, she snatches it and starts aggressively stuffing her face. But one bite in, she's literally gagging. Hagen panics, asking what's wrong. She screams that it tastes like mud mixed with toothpaste and cheap chocolate. Hagen roasts her, saying that's instant karma for stealing his food. Aaron casually takes a bite and says she actually loves mint chocolate. She's just chilling in his living room, but our MC knows she has an ulterior motive. He finally asks, and she admits her guild is investigating a major situation. Seligman wants to hire him as an investigator. Hagen demands the price up front. She says only the guild leader knows. He refuses to meet that guy again without knowing the bag. So what do you and I think the payout is? She holds up 4 fingers. Yep, 4 billion points. Trust me, things are about to get insane. Stick with me here because things are about to get wild. His face completely shifts. Bring out the leader. Let us talk. Later, they are chilling in Aaron's car. He says thanks for the lift, but Lucio is totally griping. Today was supposed to be for furniture shopping, not another crazy job. Hagen swears he is just hearing the pitch out, promising they will shop right after, but she keeps whining. Lucio wanted furniture first, then amazing food. That is, until Aaron slides her a ticket. She says Lucio can use it at the guild cafeteria for top-tier grub. Lucio instantly lights up. Hagen peeks back at the massive guild building. No wonder they are the strongest crew around. Later, Sanjin greets him with a massive grin. He apologizes for coming empty-handed, but Hagen shuts that right down. Get to the point. He hates wasting time, especially with his partner itching to ditch. Sanjin plays it cool, offering a seat. Naturally, Hagen is already annoyed by this fake friendly act. Then, Sanjin drops the actual problem. The file is about bumping up dungeon difficulty. Sanjin notes Hagen knows the drill. Dungeons are suddenly spitting out bizarre monsters, turning totally lethal. Hunters are bailing out, which is a massive red flag. If nobody clears these zones, monsters spill everywhere. Boom! A full-blown dungeon break. Hagen knows exactly how bad that is. Still, no way this guy expects him to fix a disaster this massive. He flips the page and calls them totally insane. They want intel on the Red Drake, the strongest level 7 boss. Even combined top hunters could not clap it. Hagen snaps. If they are the top guild, why send a delivery boy? Sanjin says the guild will help clear the easy monsters, but they need info on the Lizard Man King, another major boss. Hagen shakes, accusing him of paying 4 billion for his funeral. Sanjin clarifies, that is only the signing bonus. Get the intel, pocket another 4 billion. Hagen freezes. They are doubling the bag. Instantly, they shake hands and lock the deal. Scene shift. An old guy with a golden staff waits by a lake when a horse-headed dude arrives. The elder says being late is unlike him. The orange-haired man grumbles about hitting a snag on his way. He tosses down a gross purple worm, claiming he found a bunch of them lurking below. These nasty things have zero business showing up in the Norse lands. The elder studies it, totally shocked they spread this fast. The virus is accelerating way beyond what he expected. He knew the absolute apocalypse prophecy was popping off, just not at this insane speed. The horse-headed dude gears up to bail out. Odin deployed him to Helheim because something is messing with Valhalla. The elder tells him to chill out. Freya already sent a Greek hero to clean up the mess. The horseman asks if it was big names like Orpheus or Achilles. Nope. The elder says it was just an ordinary dude like him. That just pisses him off even more. What random, ordinary dude is out here stealing his thunder? Another heavyweight champion from the Greek gods. Meanwhile, Hagen is cheesing like an absolute idiot because, honestly, securing the bag is amazing. Scene jump to the Chunlin gate. Hagen literally swore he would never step foot near this place again, yet here we are. Lucio gets hyped, asking if he has cleared this before. Nope. But he survived a whole month somewhere way worse than this nightmare dungeon. She is totally blown away, claiming no normal dude could survive a zone worse than this for an entire month. He chuckles, telling her she has zero clue about the insane life he has lived, but she is about to get a taste. Then, boom, he whips out his fresh version 2.0 bike. Every upgrade just makes it beefier. This bad boy is crafted from ultra-rare materials, built specifically for an elite divine courier. This custom rig literally tanks 90% of incoming damage. Hephaestus infused it with some secret sauce, and it is insanely overpowered. His old bike slapped, but he is not risking getting paralyzed again like back on that bridge. Now, pay close attention here, because as he revs up toward that portal, all his fear is completely gone. He is locked in. Time to clap that lizard boss. Inside the swamp, he is absolutely gliding across the thick mud and water. This upgrade is so broken, the wheels do not even drag. Poor Lucio just gets splattered with gross slime. Then screech. He slams the brakes, completely stunned. Smack in the middle of this dungeon sits an entire city, and not some junk village either, a crazy rich, massive kingdom. He remembers the file claiming the lizard boss was past this gate, but the vibes are totally off. Where is everybody? Right on cue, a squad of spear-wielding lizard men roll up. He groans, realizing he literally just jinxed himself by thinking out loud. But when the lead guard checks the gate, it is totally empty. Hagen is just chilling in stealth mode, with Lucio safely stuffed inside his helmet. Lucio starts whispering about the lizard goons and he hits her with a classic, "Yeah, thanks Captain Obvious." She wonders what the master plan is. Are we just smashing everything to bits like usual? Not today. Hagen knows the mission is strictly no kills. He is just playing spy to bag some intel, completely avoiding the death wish from last time. Track the king, get the scoop, and bounce out safely. At least that is the theory. By some miracle, the guards march right past his hiding spot. These mobs might be smart, but their radar is totally trash compared to what he expected. That gives him a huge confidence boost. Worst case scenario, he just swipes his card at the system store and teleports out. But then, ding! A fresh delivery request suddenly pops up right in the middle of enemy territory. He is totally baffled. Seriously, right now. This pops up exactly as the system blares a warning about massive hostiles closing in fast. He completely forgot to put his phone on silent at the absolute worst time. He sprints away, trying to compute this madness, then abruptly hits the brakes. Lucio asks what is wrong, and he promises she will see. Right as a hulking lizard lunges with its spear, Hagen aggressively checks his phone. The beast totally freezes up because that delivery notification. It came straight from the Lizard King himself. Even this giant mob looks completely flabbergasted. Both the monster squad and Lucio are standing there, absolutely clueless. Hagen finds it super weird grabbing a quest from a dungeon boss instead of a literal god, but hey, cash is cash. He casually tells the guard he is running late, so just escort him to the big boss. The shaking lizards just point past him. He almost snaps at them until a massive shadow looms behind him. He slowly turns. Now you and I are probably expecting an epic boss fight, right? Think again. The Lizard King looks completely wrecked. Hagen spots the crown, but this pathetic creature is nothing like the terrifying boss from the intel report. The king starts aggressively hissing and flicking its tongue, which is complete gibberish to Hagen. Still, if there is one thing that fixes problems, it is money. Or right now, a free VIP translator. Lucio volunteers to decode the hissing. He side-eyes her, asking if she seriously speaks reptile. She smirks. Yep, lizard lingo is super basic. The king drops another hiss and Hagen begs for the translation. Lucio reveals that way back, an absolute disaster nuked the lizard kingdom. Some brutal invader wiped out their land. Kids, unhatched eggs, fully grown warriors, even the elders. Just a total massacre. Hagen instantly knows the drill here. They want him to clap this invader. He is sharp enough to see they are completely out of options and absolutely desperate. He strolled in ready to hunt, but now, these giant lizards look ridiculously pitiful, giving him those massive puppy dog eyes. Please help. Even Hagen is thrown off by how freaking cute they look right now. He claims he is no legendary hero, but then Lucio drops the king's real offer. Save their home, get an ultra-rare, realm-exclusive treasure. Boom. Just like that, our boy is 100% down. His loot goblin brain is way too curious about this epic drop. Lucio explains the king wants to march him straight down to the basement vault for a sneak peek. Seeing this massive boss literally bowing at his feet, Hagen stops sweating the details and swears he will destroy the invader. Cut to the basement vault. Wow, these lizards are incredibly stacked with cash. But wait, hold up just a second. The infamous thief has returned. That sneaky bandit scans the vault, flashing a totally smug grin. This place is absolutely loaded with top-tier loot. She is literally debating whether to cherry-pick the mythical gear or just wipe the whole room clean. With only 10 seconds on the clock before Hagen rolls up, he and Lucio halt right at the massive vault doors. Just from the sheer size, Hagen knows the payoff inside is unbelievable. Pushing with his last bit of stamina, the king pries the heavy doors open. Blinding golden light floods out as it swings wide. Hagen just stands there, jaw literally on the floor. He half expected an empty room, but nope. It is overflowing with treasure, and our sneaky thief is crouching inside. He does the math. This vault packs as much wealth as a billionaire's private stash. Lucio translates that the king looted all this gear from foolish human raiders who got clapped. The king puffs his chest proudly, but Hagen could not care less. He is about to rate the loot when movement catches his eye. Someone is literally scooping fat stacks of coins into their arms. The gold violently clinks to the floor and she just looks up, totally chill. Yo, what is good, my guy? The absolute second she steps into the light, those cute Yoshi vibes are gone and the lizards go feral. Lucio says they are screaming to catch the thief. Well, too late, they already got her pinned down like a total scrub. Hagen is losing his mind, wondering how she sneaked in here again. Meanwhile, Suin is equally mind-blown. She literally took a stealth mission to rob this vault, and somehow her least favorite courier crashed her party again. She locks eyes with him and goes, "Hey Junior, you remember me, right?" She shamelessly claims they both hustle for Hermes, begging him to vouch for her to the furious lizards. Lucio frantically translates that the king is demanding to know if they are actually partners. Panicking about losing his massive payout, Hagen is practically sobbing. He starts aggressively swearing he went to an all-boys school and never even spoke to a female senior. Protecting his bag, he marches over, telling her to cut the nonsense. Idiot, I do not work for Hermes. She is completely baffled. If he is doing those quests, why did nobody tell him? So what do you and I make of this ending? Cornered, Yoon-hee makes a wild deal. Bust me out and I will do anything you want. Ditch the boring stuff. Let's dive into the absolute madness. Our boy is already calculating how to turn this mess into cold hard cash. Lucio warns him against trusting bandits, which is totally valid. Smirking, he names his price, forcing her to swear an oath on the river Styx. He straight up tells her if she refuses, he'll let the giant lizard slice her throat and leave her for dead. Feeling that blade against her neck, she instantly folds and swears the oath. If he bails her out, she owes him big time. Lucio quickly catches the king up and boom, she's totally free and dodging execution. She tries thanking her junior, but he completely shuts that down. First off, not your junior. Second, get ready to pay up. Naturally, her mind goes straight to the gutter, imagining some spicy personal favor. But nope, our guy has way different plans. Suddenly, a brand new system window flashes right in his face. The mission: crush the Crimson Invader and save the entire lizard realm in just 3 hours. The payout is the literal kingdom treasure. He's absolutely shook. 3 hours is an insanely tight window. Telling Lucio there's zero time to waste, he kicks into high gear and blasts off, leaving her shouting in the dust. Still standing next to the awake king, she aggressively mutters about how totally rude he is for ditching her. Meanwhile, Hagen is already tearing down the road on his bike. 30 kilometers away in 3 hours is brutal, but winning the actual fight, that's the real nightmare. Lucio begs him to slow down, but he is having absolutely none of it. Out of nowhere, Soo-jin spawns right in front of him, casually mentioning he looks like he's in trouble. He nearly has a heart attack, slamming the brakes. Super annoyed, he demands to know why she followed him. The total troublemaker just winks, claiming she couldn't let her hero struggle all alone. He orders her to back off, reminding her she still owes him. But she smirks, betting he'll change his tune once he realizes what he's hunting. The red drake. Now pay attention, because things are about to get wild. He remembers being warned this monster is pure nightmare fuel, strictly an info-gathering mission. Yeah, he really should have seen this coming. He starts piecing together that she totally knew about the Drake and the King from the jump. Looking at her, it's glaringly obvious she wants zero part in fighting that absolute beast, but she desperately needs him alive to secure her bag of lizard treasure. She flexes that she knows the fastest shortcut to the boss. Hagen claps back, roasting her by saying he thought stealing was her only talent. She just smirks, warning him never to underestimate a pro thief. She'll guide him straight to the monster, sure, but fighting it? No way. She's got escape tricks for days. Fast forward, he's drifting through a creepy crimson forest with her riding shotgun. Suddenly, she points out a massive red lizard. The infamous red drake. Now the terrifying rumors make total sense. Lucio nervously asks if they even stand a chance. Hagen just shrugs, activates his helmet, and completely shifts into full battle mode. He absolutely launches himself at the level 7 boss, dropping an earth-shattering punch right onto its skull. Honestly, it looks like a one-hit knockout that should end the entire fight. But nope. The massive beast shakes it off and roars, making our boy flash an absolutely maniacal grin. All right, time for an epic beatdown. He drops another heavy strike from way up high, sending shockwaves everywhere. Down on the ground, Soo-jin is completely losing her mind. Even as someone chosen by Hermes who has seen insane danger, she cannot wrap her head around the impossible power she's witnessing right now. This guy is out here throwing kicks and punches straight up like Kid Lee. The red drake stumbles and crashes backward. Our madman is moving like Master Lee. The association ranked this boss top 10 globally, near level 7. Sure, Hermes chose him, but that definitely doesn't explain this god-tier strength. Top-tier hunters usually grind for 15 whole years, backed by major gods. But Hagen got his powers less than a year ago. How is he outclassing the veterans? Watching the confused red drake flail around, she finally pieces the puzzle together and figures out his insane secret. You and I both know something's up, right? The drake is completely blinded by his helmet's stealth tech while he rains down blows from above. That's when she realizes he's literally packing a hand cannon. The monster blindly smashes the ground, dealing 0 damage, while Hagen comfortably hovers in the air above the chaos. But hey, monsters only exist to get clobbered and drop that sweet loot. The entire ground explodes into dust. After throwing what feels like a million punches, the dust finally settles. But wait, this absolute unit of a lizard is somehow still breathing. Hagen literally lost count of his combo hits. So yeah, this boss fight just got ridiculously hard. Even worse, his suit's buff is seconds away from expiring. The helmet stealth still works, but without that massive power boost, his punches are gonna feel like tickles. Time to go all out. He summons his ultimate weapon, leaping down for the finishing blow. The beast totally senses him coming. What looks like a guaranteed critical hit completely misses because the monster actually dodged. But how? His previous massive swing totally glitched out his stealth helmet. Now the red drake counters with a devastating slam. Soo-jin watches in pure horror as Hagen takes the direct hit without dodging. Why on earth would he just tank a hit like that? Lucio yells at the foolish human, warning Soo-jin that jumping in will only mess up his flow. Lucio glares at the weird nymph hiding in the bushes, but fully trusts our boy. Hagen has survived way worse situations than this giant reptile. The gods back him because he always pulls off the impossible. Soo-jin thinks nobody survives a blast like that. But then she spots him doing the unthinkable. He's literally climbing the boss. Muttering about how soft the lizard's scales feel, he just hangs onto the giant monster like an absolute madman. She is completely lost, especially when Lucio starts cheering. With 57 seconds left on his suit, Hagen spots a glowing, star-shaped crystal right near the monster's throat. Lucio screams that it's a reverse scale. Realizing he just found the critical weak spot, he instantly pulls up the system shop menu. To one-shot this tank, he needs epic firepower. He asks if it's a dragon, and Lucio guesses it's a rare wyvern due to the scale. Close enough for him. He instantly drops 300,000 points in the shop, taking his balance from 1.3 million down to 1 million flat. This legendary sword cost an absolute fortune. He just bought Dragon Bane, Sigurd's literal blade, while still hanging off the boss's chest. Soo-jin's jaw drops seeing him magically spawn a weapon, but our guy knows one clean hit to that scale ends everything. Suddenly, the monster's eyes glow red and massive flames erupt everywhere. Oh man, his face says it all, this is incredibly bad. Fire absolutely blasts him off the creature, slamming him straight into the dirt. Is this its ultimate attack? He definitely can't reach the reverse scale through that inferno. Lucio screams to watch out, while Soo-jin sprints over begging him to fall back. Phase 2 is basically a death wish. She insists they team up, but he firmly rejects her help, telling her to stay hidden. But come on, you know she's got a backup trick. Smirking, she tosses Demeter's tear, an ultra-rare ice potion straight from the literal goddess of nature and earth. Boom, everything it touches flash freezes, turning the terrifying Drake King into a giant scaly popsicle. She screams that this is his chance. When he complains about her holding out on him, she basically says she was waiting for Phase 2 on purpose. Yep, they are totally bickering mid-boss fight right now. Lucio interrupts, yelling to strike before it thaws. But they are way too late. The monster shatters the ice prison instantly, bursting back into flames. With only 20 seconds left on his overpowered suit, Soo-jin realizes she has to make one final desperate opening for him to secure the win. She chucks her last plant-based potion, melting the fire away. Suit powering down, he risks it all, launching a massive purple slash right into the reverse scale, completely decapitating the level 7 boss. Trust me, you and I just witnessed one of the most insanely epic boss kills ever. Let's dive into this crazy aftermath. Back at Sungjin's guild, Do-yoon reports the nearby dungeon research is completely wrapped up. The leader says thanks, go rest up. But Do-yoon heard a wild rumor in the elevator. Did the association seriously just hand them a literal time bomb to deal with? The boss nods. Yeah, the lizard man dungeon, and they are completely clueless on how to fix it. But get this, Hagen already cleared it 2 days ago. Sungjin thought the kid just finished scouting. Nope, he straight up flatlined the Red Drake. Totally off script, it just happened. Sungjin thought it was a prank, sent a squad to verify, and boom, it is 100% real. He never saw the kid pulling off something this insane. Now how is he supposed to explain this to the suits? Everyone is super glad the city-wrecking boss is dead, but this creates a massive headache. Hagen's contract demands total anonymity, but taking down a level 7 beast, somebody has to take the credit, and that fake hero is going to get a ton of crazy spotlight. Do-yoon gets hyped, calling our delivery guy an absolute monster. At this pace, he would smoke most top-tier hunters easily. Sungjin sighs, thinking he might have to bump him to a rank. Do-yoon instantly backpedals. Never mind, zero need for a promotion. Let's just keep this whole thing super quiet. Sungjin wonders if he beat the Drake, what happened to the Lizard King intel. Cut back to the castle. Yoshi runs in, absolutely overflowing with emotion, ready to hype up their savior. Lucio translates the obvious thank yous, but our guy tells her to chill, he gets it. He grabs the king's hand. He just did what he had to do. No bowing necessary. Too bad the king has absolutely no clue what reward he actually wants. Right on cue, the king looks physically sick before hauling out a massive treasure chest. They pop it open, totally hyped. Inside, a tiny little bag. The king asks if he likes it, while our MC just glares, totally ready to start throwing hands. He put his life on the line for a tiny pouch, but Lucio stops him. This is no ordinary bag. He asks for the specs. She explains it is literally an infinite inventory bag. It holds unlimited loot. Flash forward to the next day. The Yoshi crew gathers for a big send-off. That morning, he gets an urgent call from Sungjin. The innocent city gate just straight up vanished. It was probably just a panic room for the lizard men against the Drake. Now that the kingdom is safe, gate closed. Poof. This gives him a huge realization. Maybe you can shut portals without wiping out the boss. Maybe humans and monsters can actually chill. Or, maybe that is just totally wishful thinking. While he is deep in thought, Soo Hyun gives him props, saying that new reward looks crazy useful. He agrees, then asks if she is happy with this run. She burned through rare potions for 0 drops. She smirks, claiming she never plays a game without getting paid. That is when he spots her awkwardly hiding something on her arm. Sneaky little thief. He asks what she is hiding and where she swiped it. Crickets. She just walks away, saying it was a fun ride and thanks to him, she scored her prize. Poof, she is out of there. He figures a thief never changes, but whatever, not his circus anymore. Time to head back. Lucio asks if they are rolling out, but he says wait. First, time to collect that bag. Incoming 8 billion. Stingun says they are going to dissect the Red Drake and kick him a cut of the profits. He totally forgot monster bodies sell for absolute bank. He is so wired for deliveries, he ignored the best dungeon loot. Note to self from now on, strip every single boss down to the bone. Lucio asks why he is grinning like a maniac. Then the smell hits her, fried chicken. She acted too cool for it earlier, but now she is starving. He tosses her a soda, but she completely ignores it and instantly burns her tongue. Did she starve in a past life or something? Munching on leftovers, he declares top-tier chicken still slaps the next day. Just recently, he was forced to eat cheap convenience store junk that gave him awful heartburn. Now, dropping $30 on wings is absolutely nothing. Being rich rules. Lucio even offers to share a bone with him. Right on cue, a brand new delivery request pings. The millisecond Lucio sees the screen, she starts violently speed-running the rest of her food. She knows another brutal trip is coming, but he is not rushing. Breakfast first. With 10 billion banked, he can chill. But pay attention right here because things are about to get insane. Over in the Greek realm, total chaos. The city is burning, bodies everywhere. One soldier yells they absolutely cannot retreat. They charge right at a massive beast with glowing golden eyes in the smoke. Another guy tells the king they are giving it 100%, but this thing is just way too overpowered. The king desperately asks about the summoned hero. Bad news. He was called but won't arrive for 3 whole days. The king panics. 3 days. The palace will be dust by then. Suddenly, the entire zone starts quaking. A massive explosion shreds the fortress wall, and a terrifying minotaur steps right up to the shaking king. He screams to Poseidon, asking why they were abandoned. Cut back to Hephaestus's place. The boy wonders where the guy is, and Lucio guesses they missed the window. He totally blames Lucio. She just had to air fry chicken thighs before rolling out. Then he notices his phone blowing up with missed calls. Okay, maybe this is actually an emergency. Right then, Lucio peeks over her shoulder, and Hephaestus stomps up looking incredibly mad. Bro finally showed up. The boy freezes up and awkwardly asks if they need a delivery. The dwarf bluntly reminds him time is ticking, and this run is going to be incredibly tough. They step inside to talk business. The kid just slowly nods. Once sitting down, the dwarf admits they are in deep trouble and he barely knows how to explain it. MC says just spit it out, he will keep up. But inside, he is sweating. The dwarf almost never hesitates, meaning this is super risky. Then Hephaestus brings up his secret chat with Freya. The boy remembers the lore about the realms being split into 7 zones. The dwarf says he was praying the Olympians could fix this mess, but it is just getting worse. The enemy forces are already pushing into zones even gods are locked out of. At the council, they uncovered the real nightmare. These monsters are not just raiding the myth tiers, they are bleeding into the human realm. This disaster is not stuck in the upper planes anymore. It is infecting the lower worlds, even the underworld. The massive catch. Thanks to causality rules, the gods are literally banned from interfering on Earth. The one silver lining is these monsters cannot move at full power yet. For now, they just plant seeds and wait for them to hatch. The boy throws his hands up. Hold on, he is completely lost. What seeds? Which gods? What is going on? The dwarf asks if he seriously has no idea. As the boy replies, the audio suddenly drops out. He asks him to repeat that, but Lucio says she just heard some freaky static noise. Hephaestus realizes the god-tier rules are literally censoring him. Long ago, the Pantheon sealed this big bad, making its actual name forbidden to speak. You and I both know this is a massive red flag, right? But the dwarf tells him to chill. He will figure it out eventually, and today's quest is the first step. He explains they were expecting a tribute from some guy named Cretin, but it is missing in action. Luckily, his dad is busy at the council and totally clueless. If Poseidon caught wind of this, he would completely lose his mind. So the kid needs to investigate ASAP before the sea god finds out. The payout? Huge, obviously. MC gets the picture. A package is late and Poseidon cannot know. MC asks, why the massive panic? Lucio chimes in. Any other ruler, whatever. But this is King Midas. Missing deadlines is unacceptable. This is the exact guy who plunged his kingdom into chaos just by ghosting Poseidon and refusing to sacrifice a white bull. That mistake created the legendary labyrinth and its deadly minotaur. He still doesn't connect the late package to the monster, but whatever, time to go. Except, his water-walking buff starts flashing red, forcing an emergency landing on a tiny island. Lucio yells at him to watch his timers. He complains he had no clue the trip was this far. He checks the system shop for a ride, but the prices are absolute robbery. Theseus's boat for 30 million, the Argonaut's ship for 50 mil, Noah's literal ark for 100 million. Hard pass. Lucio asks what the backup plan is. He decides to scout the area first. Maybe there is some free loot nearby. He flexes the new infinite inventory bag, saying this is exactly why he equipped it. He packed every survival tool imaginable, except a boat, apparently. So he pulls out binoculars to scout instead. Boom! He spots a temple in the distance with smoke billowing up. He figures that has to be a pit stop on the way to Cretan Island. Suddenly, soldiers ambush them, demanding their identities. The boy says to chill, he just needs a boat to Cretan. One guard snaps, asking if he even knows where he is. But a mysterious leader steps up to hear him out. And that is where we pause. Trust me, you and I definitely want to see what happens next. Alright, stick with me here. Our guy spots a suspicious dude, but wait, it is actually the myth, the legend himself, Theseus. This time, our boy totally recognizes him. Lucio quickly chimes in, hyping him up as the absolute unit who wrecked the Minotaur, escaped the deadly labyrinth, became king of Athens, and went on wild quests with the gods. Theseus laughs and says that outfit totally gives him away. He has to be the famous divine delivery man. Seeing our guy react, Theseus knows he nailed the guess. Turns out, Jason from the Argo crew hyped him up. Our boy remembers Jason as the captain who sent him after those pesky sirens. Still scratching his head over all this rising hero hype, he asks what the streets are actually saying. Theseus drops the facts. Everyone knows he raided the siren nest, slayed the Hydra, fixed Chiron up, and even ran a delivery to Helheim. The kid is literally becoming a superstar across the divine realms, looking pretty proud of it. Meanwhile, Lucio asks about her own clout. Theseus casually mentions he heard the delivery guy had some kind of sidekick assistant. That absolutely crushes her ego. While she has a total meltdown, Theseus hands our boy a paper, saying it will get them to Cretan Island. It is a legendary map. But wait, Lucio notices a warning that the threat has returned. Confused, our boy asks, "Did you not kill the Minotaur a long time ago?" He drops a massive truth bomb. He never actually killed the beast, he just locked it away. The problem is that seal is broken now. So tomorrow morning, he is heading back to Cretan to finish the job and invites our favorite delivery guy along. Our boy totally did not plan on fighting but still agrees. Well, things never go exactly how you plan. Meanwhile, the furious Minotaur has the king completely trapped in its massive grasp. Fast forward to the next morning, and our guy is trying to wake up Lucio, who keeps begging for 5 more minutes. He yells at her to get up because their boat is literally leaving. Lucio sadly whines, begging him to stop being so mean. Our boy just glances outside, really hoping Theseus managed to rally a massive squad for help. Yesterday, Theseus told him to get some rest while he recruited heavy hitters. That was when our guy asked how he beat the beast the first time, and Theseus gave all the credit to Princess Ariadne. Now pay attention, because this is where it gets crazy. This monster was a horrible curse that ruined King Midas and his family for defying a god. It was supposed to be locked deep in the labyrinth forever. So how did it come back strong enough to wreck Cretan all over again? That is exactly what Theseus wants to find out. They need to hustle before everything is completely destroyed, and this time, Theseus wants to end it for good. Our boy asks why they are wasting time gathering an army instead of rushing right in. Theseus admits he felt the same until Hercules told him something, but he completely leaves us hanging on the details. Now our guy is wondering if it ties into what Hephaestus said back at the shop. Fighting giant monsters was already bad enough, but feeling dragged into a massive divine conspiracy. Way worse. Lucio acts like she is totally hyped for the adventure, and Hagen realizes she has absolutely no clue how dangerous this is going to be. Down at the docks, soldiers are busy loading up the huge ship as our boy yells out to Theseus. The legendary hero laughs and jokes that he thought he would have to wake them up himself, since Lucio keeps calling Hagen super lazy. He tells them to hop aboard and meet the crew later. Our boy is absolutely mind-blown by how massive the ship is. It literally looks like something straight out of a wild anime, and Theseus proudly says that totally makes sense. Turns out, this beauty used to belong to a top-tier legendary hero. Suddenly, our guy hears a super annoying, high-pitched comment and asks what Lucio just said. She swears it was not her. He is super confused, but then another voice mocks country nymphs. He turns around to find what is basically Lucio version 2.0 standing right there. This dude is literally just a fun-sized male version of Lucio, and somehow they actually know each other. She calls him Lou Vor and gets super hyped, saying she never expected him to be helping Theseus. But Lou Vor is having absolutely none of it. He pushes her face away and straight up tells her not to get close, because they are definitely not friends. You saw that too, right? This is only the second male nymph he has ever seen, proving Lucio was not lying about being tall. Suddenly, Theseus yells out, asking why Lou Vor is just standing there instead of showing the guests to their rooms. Our boy quickly apologizes for his own chaotic nymph causing drama. Theseus just brushes it off, telling them to gear up because they are sailing right now. Our boy asks Lou Vor to lead the way, but the poor little dude is still recovering after Lucio absolutely roasted and smacked him. Inside the ship, they find out their room is actually super sick. Lou Vor thanks him for not snitching to Theseus about the fight, and our guy smiles, saying that any friend of Lucio is a friend of his. And boom, just like that, the two nymphs start going at it again. Lou Vor just sighs, takes the L, and walks off looking pretty depressed. Our boy thinks that is super weird and asks if Theseus treats him badly. Lucio explains that nymphs are basically just servants here. It is not that Theseus is cruel, our guy just treats her totally differently. Hagen figures that is because in these old myths, this messed up servant system was completely normal. For a guy from the modern world, it makes absolutely zero sense. Soon, the massive ship sets sail, and Theseus mutters that he never thought he would enter that labyrinth again. When they finally hit the city, our boy is stunned. The whole place is completely flattened into rubble. It gets even worse. The victims left behind look like they went through absolute hell. Theseus confirms this is definitely the Minotaur's brutal work and orders them to search for survivors. Lou Vor points ahead, showing that the Temple of Poseidon is still standing. Since this whole disaster is a divine punishment, the massive beast clearly chickened out of trashing the god's house. They rush toward the temple, but there is a nasty trail of blood leading right up to the front doors. Theseus kicks them open, bracing for a boss fight, but instead finds a massive crowd of desperate survivors inside. The people immediately start crying with emotion, and Theseus is just super relieved. The survivors are quickly escorted back to the boats, and our boy feels a little better knowing not everyone was lost. Then an old man comes up and drops a massive bombshell. The Minotaur took King Minos hostage. Our guy asks where it took him, and trust me, you and I know exactly where this is heading, the deepest part of the labyrinth. The problem is, the longer they wait, the harder it gets.